Happy Monday, degenerates. Welcome back to the Die Hard MMA podcast. We're talking UFC Perth this week, and you all need to make sure you set your alarm clocks. You guys, I'm going to be real with you. I don't know if I'm going to make it this week. I don't know if I'm going to make it this week. So Perth's main card is going to be at like 5 a.m. local time for me. I don't know if I'm pulling an all-nighter for this card, you guys. I might have to just like lock it down and then watch it with my waffles first thing in the morning instead, and just try to stay offline, try not to look at my accounts and see, if I'm down or up or anything like that before I roll out of bed. This is going to be tough. Okay. If you're asking me to wake up at 6 o'clock and start the fight early in the morning, that maybe I can do. Pulling an all-nighter or waking up at 1 a.m., fuck that. Welcome back to the show, everybody. As you can see, unfortunately, the one fight win streak has already ended. We are not wearing the baby blues this week. We'll do a quick recap here. UFC Vegas 116 for you guys. And I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie, guys. I'm salty. Because I'm down about 4 units on this event, but it was a decent little split as far as like I had some really good calls. I had some really bad calls. I got unlucky a couple of times, as always, but that's gambling. What do you expect? The only reason I'm negative is because Hani Barcelos won that split decision. And props to the bettors who took the plus money. Obviously, I always say if it goes to a split, you want the plus money. That's the side I like and I respect, and I hear you. But I really felt like I won that fight. And I was really pissed off, especially tallying the numbers up that literally my day came down to a split decision, and Montel Jackson let me down again. You guys are going to have to invite him to my funeral because I need him to let me down one more time before it's all said and done. At any rate, I'm excited because we've got a guest that we haven't seen in many, many moons. I'm ready to break this card down. This is kind of every time they go to Perth, it's like Canada. It's a good card. It's a really good card. So I'm excited to break this bad boy down with Austin Swaim, my man. How are you doing?
I am doing wonderful, Clint. Yeah, long time no see, and I always love coming on your show because you get to filibuster and talk about the fight intros. I just get to sit here and give my take. I don't have to do that on this show, so I really enjoy that.
Yeah, I appreciate that, my guy. I appreciate that. How'd you do last week? UFC Vegas 116.
It was a good one. Unfortunately, I heard your Montel Jackson horror story, and I was kind of getting the post-traumatic stress disorder from a few of those I had, most recently being Jamie Lynn Horth in Winnipeg. But I was up 10.3 units. We've had a good start to 2026. I tweaked my model around the holidays or so, and it's really had a nice, strong start this year. And I'm very thankful. Community's been awesome as well with our Home of Fight guys. So I'm hoping to keep delivering winners. Sometimes you're on the right side of those splits. Sometimes you're not. All I can do is stick to the process.
Yeah. Glad to hear it, man. Glad to hear it. Maybe you can get me get the record straight here for me so I can get on the right streak here. What is up to the chat? We've got absolutely everybody piling in here, all the usual faces. Dream, my guy Dan Levy from Half the Battle. Muhammad, what's up? VP MMA, Dixon Insider, Louie Mac Jr., the Andy G, Ryan tuning in from Twitter. What's going on, my friend? Venzi, what is up? Cameron Junkins, my boy D, everybody, the It Factor MMA, the official VOR. How we doing? The only Godfather in the house, and my man Super Green Samurai. How's everybody doing? UFC Garrison, John Dong, Pendigen. Everyone's rolling in as I'm saying names. I don't want to leave anybody out. Let's talk about UFC Vegas 116 here, just real quick. I already lamented my loss there, and I appreciate the chat here. Venzi saying Barcelos clearly won, man. Bad performance from Montel. He truly did not land more damage, deserved to lose. I mean, I as always, you guys, I will say I'll go back and I will rewatch it. I will go back and rewatch it. But I felt like, I mean, especially round one, that was damn near 10-8, man. Like you could have given that a 10-8 round, the way he beat the brakes off of Hani. I thought round three, Hani did nothing but kind of hang on to him. I understand in round two, he ended up in a submission. So, maybe even though no damage was done, like you give the threatening side of things to Hani for that one. But I thought 1 and 3 were okay. But it is what it is. Apparently Montel's a bum, and I shouldn't be laying chalk on him. We were let down early by Julia Palistri. I had a 2-leg parlay with her. Talita Alencar, I talked about how I liked her. I liked her wrestling. I liked her tenacity, etc. But it was just a really bad game plan from Julia Palistri. Like, I feel like she should have won that fight. Even considering how she lost it, I feel like if she had just been her usual, more aggressive self, she would have won it. So It was very frustrating for that one as well. Did you have anything on that first fight?
I did. I model had Alencar at like 48%, so I played small. Although like the optics of Alencar are always so grimy, and so she's just. I tweeted out. I think she could take Waylay to a split decision in 3 rounds. The problem is it would be 5, and then she'd probably gas out. But she's just so. She has a knack for almost kind of pulling you into this voodoo energy where. Palistri, you compare the volume she had against Colby, which is what she showed against Alencar. I felt like I got a little bit lucky, but that's why I kind of play numbers instead of fighters. Is if you rematch Palistri and Alencar 100 times, I think Palistri wins 85 of them, but it just was not her best effort.
Yeah, and that's man. I try to preach people that you want to play the numbers and not necessarily the fighters, but then every once in a while I. Go the square way. And this is what I did here is I just said, Julia Palistri, I think she wins. I tied her in a 2-leg parlay, and that's what happens sometimes when you're betting MMA. I talked about Max Griffin being tough and durable. Frankly, guys, I didn't hardly even watch this fight. Like I was zoned out. I was doing other things. I didn't get to watch it. I saw Victor won a decision, but I honestly have no idea what happened. I was away for this one. Did this one mean anything to you, Austin?
It did. I played Valenzuela around. I got a good number on Bet Openly, like minus 125 or so. So like I decided to play it. I will say I thought Valenzuela, and especially at the end, was getting hit with the cleaner shots, but that was like younger chin versus older chin. The optics just didn't favor Max going backward when I feel like you could have made an argument he was landing better shots. But when you're going backwards and you're kind of grunted and you have a grimace on your face, it's really hard to like feel like the other guy's not winning. I feel like Valenzuela's in a slight fade spot following that fight, though, because I was not super impressed with what I saw.
See, and that's why I stayed off of it, because I heard the calls for Max Griffin at plus money there. And I think if you go back in time 2 years, Max wins that fight easily.
Yeah,
I don't think Victor is anything, man. I really don't. You've got a 40-year-old Max Griffin that is very obviously declining. No way I can get involved on that one. And I didn't want to fade shit with shit. I stuck to it this time. So I passed and got out of there. I will say maybe one of my best calls though, like period. Francis Marshall versus Lucas Brennan over 2.5. Guys, it was minus 120. It was minus 120. And I'm sitting here going, what are we doing? Like, this is a Francis Marshall fight, man. I talked about Francis Marshall by decision. I threw it in like a 3-leg Hail Mary type parlay. So that did hit, but it busted later on. So I didn't get the cash for it or anything. I was very happy with the over 2.5. I just feel like Francis Marshall was getting kind of overblown. He got that finish in his last fight and everyone suddenly thinks he's a finisher. He's not. He's a grinder. He's a decision machine.
Yeah. And fair play to you, Lucas Brennan, very tough in that fight. Took a lot of big shots and and the thing is Francis can't help it. It's just in his DNA to grapple. So I think if he really tried to stick to his striking for 15 minutes, he might have threatened a KO, but that's not who he is. That's not his foundational style. So,
for sure.
And it was an impressive performance, but the win over Brennan doesn't really do much for me, like with how I evaluate Francis moving forward.
All right. You and I are on the same page there a little bit there. Jafel Filo and Cody Durden. I mean, really, this is where the night kicked off, man. I know Alencar showed up and pulled the upset early, but this was the one that had people's hair blown back. I was lucky enough to see the writing on the wall. And even though I had like a sprinkle on Filo by submission, again, in one of those parlays, so it really wasn't like a big investment for me or anything. It was like, well, I think this is going to happen. I'll throw it in. It was with Francis Marshall by decision. So this was the one that killed it for me. But I saw the writing on the wall and I was like, Cody Durden is still plus 200 right now, man.
Yes.
Like we know Jafel Filo's got a poor gas tank. So even though sometimes we criticize Cody Durden for slowing down a little bit in his fights, a guy like Jafel Filo going to slow down way more. I jumped in live. I got plus 200, And considering the over 2.5 and the live bet, I thought I was going to be off to the races for this card, man. I thought it was going to be one of those legendary nights for me.
Sick read. Hey, I want my Clayton Carpenter bucks back. If Carpenter had made it to the end of round 1, I'm pretty sure he would have finished that bum inside the distance. So I want my Carpenter bucks back.
Feel you. But shout out Cody Durden. Love when a guy like that, who's just all heart, goes out there and does the damn thing. I'm happy for him because he really has been the company guy, stepping up on short notice, taking tough fights. So you love to see that kind of guy get a win.
Yeah, absolutely. The successful Brundage path, if you will. That Cody was able to deliver it.
There you go. This next fight pissed me off almost as much as my loss on Montel Jackson, man, because I bet Mayra Bueno Silva and Michelle Montague doesn't go the distance.
Oh,
Austin,
yeah, me too.
Did you watch that fight?
I did. I wish I could say it wasn't super predictable, but it kind of was.
I was so furious because I had this fight covered top to bottom. I said, look, Montague is going to be a bully. She wants to ground and pound. She's not going to be able to find the sub, so she's going to get a TKO. And then she's chinny. She doesn't like striking. So if Mayra's on her game, Mayra's going to knock her ass out. And I considered playing the 30-1 TKO prop. I passed because at the end of the day, I did think Montague was going to be the one getting her hand raised. But what I did do, Austin, was I sprinkled the round 3 TKO for Michelle Montague because it was like 25-1.
Yeah.
And somehow I missed on everything.
Yeah.
You've got Montague dragging Mayra Bueno Silva around the cage in that first round, going for broke with the ground and pound. Ref doesn't decide to step in. Mayra Bueno Silva drops Michelle Montague in the second round, sinks up a deep choke, almost taps her out. She almost got finished twice in the second round. And then in round 3, Mayra's exhausted. Montague puts her in a crucifix and can't summon enough will to elbow her until the referee steps in. Austin, I was robbed. I have been robbed.
I played Montague 2-3 KO too, so we were in the same bucket there. But my foundational play in that fight was something I hate doing. I played -3.5 on the point spread. And then Clinton, you talk about didn't get the point deduction for Mayra with the against the fence. They didn't give the position back to Montague. The 10-8
when they do that.
No, like 10-8 in round 1. I thought,
why do you take away the position when they cheat like that? Like they cheat and get rewarded. It's weird.
You're Herb Dean and you don't know what you're doing is the answer. But like I thought all of those things, I'm like, I'm gonna get screwed on the point spread because of the drop, like you mentioned. Luckily it was it was okay and it was coming through. And Michelle ended up covering 3.5. But yeah, that was a tilting fight to have some violence props. Those were great Montague numbers. They just didn't come home.
Oh, extremely tilting. And I mean, you guys, the whole card was tilting. This whole thing went to decision. There was only one finish. Thank God, Jackson McVeigh. I played McVeigh inside the distance on this one, man. I finally jumped ship from Cedric Dumas. And I'm going to say this is the hindsight bet for me, Austin. This is the one where I went, look, I had it. I called it. I was right. I cashed the ticket. I should have bet more. Like I knew this one. I knew it in my soul. I should have bet more on Jackson McVeigh.
What number did you get?
-145.
Oh, that's a great number. Most of what I saw was -160. So I sprinkled the KO with my guy Maddie, but it could have been either. Like I should have figured Dumas likes to take that easy way out, man. Whenever you show him that door, he'll take it right away. So
Austin, I even called this up because I was like, he's gonna shoot. He's gonna get tired of getting beat up, and he's gonna get tired, and he's gonna shoot. And so again, I was all over it, and I played it small. I splattered the board on this one instead of going hard on that one, and that one did bother me a little bit. The second leg of my 2-leg parlay was Rodolfo Vieira, which I got to tell you, man, if you're going to lose one leg, you might as well lose them both, right? My parlay was already dead. I didn't reload, so frankly, I didn't care much about this fight, but I couldn't have been more wrong, man. Eric McConaughey, well, that's not entirely true. Eric McConaughey almost got blasted out of there in the first round. I talked about Vieira by knockout props because of McConaughey's chin. It's just starting to look like, we'll talk about it, even more a little bit later. These BJJ guys, they are not translating to MMA well, man. Solid effort from Vieira, but when he didn't get that finish, Eric took over. And that was, props to anybody who bet Eric McConaughey, or especially if anybody jumped in live, because I thought he was a dead man walking.
I mean, anybody that's got a little bit of balance and a little bit of athleticism at this point can keep their feet against Rodolfo. He's not a very good wrestler. Like I played Rodolfo early KO props too, Clint. You and I were on the same wave there. did not end up coming home to roost. And really, he had him hurt, and then he decided to grapple. It's just like he took the wrong instinct there. You know what I mean? So I could definitely have seen Mechanico decision in a longer fight. It was grimy, but like you, I was already toast with my Vieira shares on Filo, so I'm just watching along and upset along for the ride. But yeah, I tweeted last week. I said we had 3 IBJJF world champions, Alan Carr, Vieira, and Marcus Buchecha, who we'll get to next. The only sub on the card was Jackson the Moose McVeigh, a 6'3" American dude from MMA Lab.
The Moose is loose. Got to watch out for those Minnesota boys.
Yes, sir.
And speaking of Marcus Buchecha, my God. So I felt publicly shamed on this one. You guys know I love John Stargarian from the Club and Sub podcast. Yep. He tweets immediately, imagine laying chalk on Marcus Buchecha. And I'm like, oh God. So I laid chalk on Marcus Buchecha, and he is now on my shit list for eternity because he is the first person in history to be finished by Ryan Spann in the second round. I said it all week, Austin. I was like, look, if this fight gets to round 2, it's a lock. Like, Ryan Spann never gets out of round 1. He either finishes you in the first, or we even saw that Anthony Smith fight where he ground his way to a losing effort via the shell of Anthony Smith. Like, he just doesn't know what to do after round 1. He was so scared to throw, man. The first 1-2 he tosses out there ends the fight. And I thought he was tired. I thought he was scared of being taken down. All you needed was Buchecha to do one thing right in the second round of that fight, and Spann looked cooked to me, man. Yes. Future fade, absolute future fade. But it was fun to watch Marcus Buchecha go flying. It would have been far more entertaining if I didn't lose money on it.
It's just sad because Ryan Spann's conditioning is going the wrong way at heavyweight. But the problem, I've talked about this on my show all the time, the skill chasm between light heavyweight, which is not a great division, and heavyweight is so big that crazy. A guy like Spann goes there and he's fought ranked light heavyweights. He's got the skills to be a top 10 heavyweight in the world because of how bad the rest of the division is. And he's just not locked in, though, like you can tell by his physique. So, like, I'm with you. I really don't know what to do with him in the future. So I think it is closer to a fade just because the conditioning is so bad as he gets back up closer to that Waldo Cortez Acosta level of competition.
I hear you, man. It's crazy how nothing's changed. Back in the day, Randy Couture, by today's standards, he'd be a 185er.
Yeah.
And he looked at heavyweight and was like, hey, these guys are bitches. I'm going to move up. And he took the belt. Like, right. You can still do it today in 2026, man. Oh, crazy talk. So we already complained about Montel Jackson. I understand a lot of people feel like Hani might have just outright won the fight. I felt like Montel deserved to get the nod, but I did admit that it was close. In close fights, you never want it to be a close fight. The judges are always going to screw you one way or the other. I did make a poor decision, you guys, and as always, this is therapy for me to talk it through with you guys, and I try to be as transparent as possible. I'm pissed off at myself about this one, Austin, because it was always Davy Grant. It was always Davy Grant. I had a lean to a side and a total. I bet the total. So I left the side on the table. I didn't bet Davy. I did bet the violence. I feel like it was yet another Davy Grant fight that could have ended inside the distance, but didn't. And I could have cashed a easy ticket on my boy Davy Grant. Instead, I lost money betting on the under. So that one's on me.
Well, I mean, it happened. You're a wise veteran gambler. When you miss the best of the number, and Davey had plus signs early last week, it's tough to jump in at minus 125, minus 130.
That was the straw, man. That was the last leg that I went, fuck, like, I know it's Davey, but I don't want to be the guy betting the worst number if he gets robbed on a split decision. Like, that just feels awful to be in at the end and still lose.
Yeah. And if I think if Davey didn't invest so heavily early in the calf kicks, he may have had some real trouble in 2 and 3. Martinetti's going to be a problem in terms of his cardio, his output. There will be a lot of lesser men's that wilt to him moving forward. I think a lot of people think he sucks because he had the Volek Dean fight that was kind of sloppy and all of that stuff. But I do think Martinetti has these attributes that are going to give him a chance to win some fights in UFC.
Yeah, he kind of surprised me, man. Being able to take all those shots from Davey and all that damage, and then the way he started coming on late, I didn't think much of him. But after seeing that performance, I don't know. I guess it depends. He's like 30, so I don't really count him as like a super young developing prospect or anything at 30 years old. So we'll see. Maybe we'll get a couple of good fights out of him or something. But my hopes aren't super high for him. Here comes my shiniest run of the night, though, man. My dog of the week, Rafa Garcia got it done versus Alexander Hernandez. I felt really good about that one. And, you know, you guys, the official record will not show it, but I chased a little bit. I put a little extra on Rafa. So my wallet's feeling a little bit better than my official record would show because I was pissed off at this point. After losing the Montel Jackson split, after losing the under on Davey Grant, I was like, fuck this. And I put more on Rafa. So I'm a little better off than the record suggests.
Well, hey, Clint, we'll throw it out there. Model dub for both of us. I had that fight 50-50. I got plus 135 on Rafa, so beautiful. I got a great number on a prediction market here in Texas. And Rafa looks great. I felt like he was underrated because people are like, oh, well, Jared Gordon went through a car accident before his last fight. Rafa has been slowly improving. He's only 29. He's training at a really good gym with Cub Swanson. And I said, watch the improvement window.
And Cub Swanson, coach of the year right now.
Yeah, with Larion Douglas. And like I said, Alexander Hernandez is a guy, he's on a 4-fight winning streak. Typically him, I talked about Michael Johnson last month as well. Those are guys when they're on big winning streaks, you probably want to run the other way. We know they have shortcomings and limitations. So
for sure,
great bet on Rafa Garcia plus money. Anything plus money.
Glad we both got in there on that one. And I do have to apologize to you guys because I always post my action, Austin. I always tweet my stuff. So like, again, I behold myself to my own record. Right. So I'm confessing that I bet more on Rafa. It didn't go on the official record this time. And it wasn't because I was scared or anything like that. Boys, I was at the track. I was literally at the horse track with a portable charger trying to keep my phone in the shade so that it wouldn't overheat. Right. So when I got the money in on Rafa, I was like, fuck it. Like I'm chasing my daughter. She's going down like one of those blow up slides. It was like family day at the horse track and we were running to the window to put bets in. There were circumstances. Normally speaking, I will always post when I make a bet. So I apologize for anybody who gets offended on that one. Jocelyn Edwards in the co-main event. Hey, earlier in the week, man, I said she might be the most improved fighter on the UFC roster. And then she comes out and just does the damn thing against Norma Dumont. And I had the 12-1 knockout prop, 14-1. I had the 14-1 knockout prop sprinkle, Austin. And when Norma went back to her corner and went, boy, she's got heavy hands. I was like, it's coming. Yeah. It's coming. And the way she went after her in that third round, I thought we might get that knockout for a second, man. I'm happy to cash a big plus money ticket there on that one. But it would have been nice and honestly probably would have saved my day if she had gotten the knockout.
Yeah, I've been a big Jocelyn Edwards guy training Extreme Couture with Eric Nixick and those boys. She's really their lead female representative right now. And Norma, the split decision, Dumont, you live by the split decision, you die by it. And True. Like I thought there were enough bullet points here. Jocelyn had a little bit higher volume, definitely at like plus 200, and then she came down and it kind of got closer as the fight got closer. But Dumont fights those grimy fights, and when you lay big chalk like that, especially like decision was like minus 150, it's like, man, you are really swimming in the sharks, in the sharks water with that stuff when you go to those certain numbers. And look, I'm excited because I think Jocelyn Edwards is really exciting. I think we need her, Eileen Perez too, and that's your title eliminator right there, because those are the two girls that are really moving up the rankings.
I don't hate it. Might as well at this point. The main event, man. Okay. So I came in with a strategy. I implemented that strategy and I got shit for it. So I told everybody all week, Austin, that I am going to bet Youssef Zalal. I'm a big believer in Zalal 2.0. I'm not a massive believer in Aljamain Sterling up at this weight class. He's getting older. He's always had sketchy cardio, et cetera, et cetera. So my plan was, hey, I know Zalal is losing round one. I know it without a shadow of a doubt. So I'm going to get plus money after round one. So I jump in, I get plus 140. I'm feeling real good. Instead of laying minus 135 pre-flop, I've got plus 140 after round one, and now I'm looking for Zalal to do his thing. Round two is still one-way traffic Aljo. So you know what? I'm feeling good. I'm at the track. I'm chasing a little. I jumped in again at plus 310. I doubled down. I posted it up for everybody, and Zalal came out in that third round nearly choked out Aljamain Sterling, out wrestled him, got on top of him, and boy, Austin, let me tell you, I'm sitting here doing this. I'm like, I am the smartest motherfucker on planet Earth. Like, I'm about to ride this thing to the bank. And then Aljo hit a switch like I've never seen before. I'm not usually that guy, Austin, but I feel like he has been training so hard with Merab. He like absorbed EPO through skin to skin contact with Merab. Like, because Aljo's never had cardio like that, man. Not only that, this man is afraid to strike at range. And he was walking Youssef Zalal down, throwing bombs. You cannot find another clip in the entire history of Aljo's career where he's done that to anybody, much less in the 4th or 5th round. Don't get me wrong. Backpack wrestling, he's always done that, but he's caught his breath getting on top of people. He's been tired. He has never bit down on the mouthpiece and said, bitch, let's go in the 4th round of a fight, and then just started slugging it out. It's never happened. He looks way beefier. I'm calling bullshit.
Yeah, no, dude, I don't even know if you have to go absorbed by bloodstream there, but I definitely thought, I tweeted this out, that I thought that's the best Aljo has looked since he submitted Corey Sandhagen.
His whole career.
Right. I mean, like, I feel like the guy that showed up against Jan twice would have been in trouble against Zalal with, especially how Youssef looked in the 3rd round. And I said before the fight, like, my hesitancy here is I like Youssef a lot, and I liked his analytics and his metrics. To me, it was a level of competition thing where I feel like the high level experience, the 5-round experience, was going to pay dividends for Aljo. So that's why I took and he was a big time public dog. So I was really nervous about that going into the fight but I think really what it is a combination, which you talked about in the bloodstream as well as the no weight cut, probably has helped Aljo's cardio a little bit. And the most interesting fight, like legacy wise, is Volk and Aljo now, because you have the championship history there. But there's like this brotherhood of people saying, let's make sure to get Movsar in line, because if the precedent is set to go around for entertainment purposes, Dana will alternate Diego Lopez, John Silva, and Kevin Vallejos for the rest of the time. So they're kind of all like, maybe Evloev should get the next shot. But I think that is the best Sterling has looked in years. And I really feel bad if you have a Zalal ticket, because that is not what I was expecting to get out of a Sterling ticket. He looked like an absolute monster.
It was different, man. And it was crazy. So, I mean, props to Aljo. My guy, Super Green Samurai, says Aljo reminded everyone how good he is. And see, that's the thing. I never forgot how good he was. I didn't forget. It just, he's never looked like that.
No. So, other than when TJ Dillashaw had one shoulder, that was it.
But he had one shoulder,
exactly.
Austin, like that. Yeah. I will die on the hill that TJ Dillashaw bops Aljamain Sterling's head through the roof if he's got 2 shoulders to work with. He absolutely wins that fight healthy. I couldn't, and so he dominated him, a guy that couldn't defend a choke with one arm. Like, nobody should be surprised by that. I fell into that trap because the news hadn't broke that his shoulder had popped out in training until it was on the damn broadcast.
Yeah. How unforgivable does it look for Hamzat and for Islam that Aljo was able to land that sort of ground and pound? See, you could do that without losing position. It's an excuse that we give those guys that I don't buy assault. I think you can still be entertaining with that sort of approach.
Oh, you absolutely can be. I do think a lot of these guys are scared to be entertaining because let's be real. I mean, that choke that Zalal had on Sterling, like, you give him those opportunities, you could lose everything going for it. So it's a risk reward type of thing, which is why, wrestlers they're going to wrestle. They're going to hustle. I mean, it is what it is. I got to tell you, I was doing the roulette thing. Rafa comes through. Edwards comes through. I'm like, there's no way Aljo's coming through as a dog now. We're not getting 3 dogs in a row. You know what I mean? I felt real good plus money on Youssef Zalal, but so it is what it is. I took the L. I feel like I had a lot of really good reads, and honestly, it all came down to the split decision with Montel Jackson. So I'm salty, I'm pissed off, and I've got a hankering to win some cash coming into this week. It doesn't help, Austin. It helps me personally. Okay. It helps me personally, but it doesn't help because my viewers, my listeners, the people that mock me relentlessly online, I was King Midas on Sunday. Every single thing I touched won. We're talking, I was parlaying home run props in baseball. I was live betting shit. I was betting NASCAR. I mean, dude, I can't tell you guys. I had the biggest weekend betting wise that I've had in probably years. And none of it goes on my official record. Everyone still thinks I'm a bum gambler who lost his ass because I don't talk about any of the other sports that I bet. But I was hitting parlays in the NHL. I mean, like, I hit a 14-1. I actually posted the 14-1 for everybody and nobody tailed it because I'm such a jinx on Twitter these days. But so I'm annoyed. I need to get back in the win column, Austin. So let's talk about UFC Perth. First off, everybody, real quick shout out. The show today is brought to you by RotoWire. If you are serious about your gambling, if you need tools, if you need insights, if you want to know where the sharp money is, the moves, if you want to know articles, if you want to know stats, they are all right here for you, especially if you're looking for DFS. They have a tool for that as well. The NHL playoffs are going off. NBA playoffs are going off. MLB is getting into full swing. Everything you need is right freaking here. And especially if you're looking at betting, we can pick anything here. We can go to NHL, and then you can come on down here to picks, to the tools, to the odds. You can find the smart money in here. I mean, they've got absolutely everything. So if you're looking to get serious about your betting, please check out rotowire.com. Please use the link in the description below. You'll get 10% off when you sign up. Thank you guys for tuning in here. Please hit the like button if you haven't already, and let's get freaking after it. First fight of the evening, we got Kody Steele, and he's taking on Don Marfan, Street Buddha himself. Kind of an odd fight to kick our night off here, Austin. So I always feel like it's underdog and under for the first fight of the evening. I don't know why. Those just always seem to be a thing. They keep happening. Don Marfan is 9-2. He's 26 years old. This is a guy who is a road to UFC athlete. You guys know how I feel about road to UFC athletes. These are bums. These are people who are meant to be faded into oblivion. None of them are good. Okay. So,
and I agree with you.
What was that?
I agree with you.
Okay, perfect. Glad to hear that. We got that out of the way. He won the road to UFC finale against Sang Yuk Kim back at UFC 325. And honestly, guys, I didn't break down his fight at UFC 325. If you remember, I got lambasted. People were so upset at me because how dare I skip 4 fights at UFC 325? I said, this is a road to UFC, guys. One of them is going to advance in the UFC. The rest are going to get cut. I'm not watching. Do the research yourself. So now Don got his win. He got advanced. He's the one I have to study. So here we go. He showed pretty good counter wrestling. Very good balance. I will say, when he got taken, attempted to be taken down, he got put on one foot for a very long period of time. He was hopping around. He got his hips back. He was doing a very good job of staying up on his feet. He attacks well from the clinch. He's got good knees, good elbows. He actually did get taken down. He reversed his way out of it, got back up to the feet. The one thing I noticed about him, though, is he always concedes the cage. He's always walking backwards. Yeah. He'll get pinned up against the fence. He doesn't seem to have the kind of power that it would take to get somebody's respect. He doesn't seem to be able to back you off of him. He does have nice boxing. He's got a clean jab. And like I mentioned, especially when he gets close, aggressive with those elbows. Kody Steele, 7-1. 31 years old. He's 0-1 off Dana White's Contender Series. He lost his UFC debut to Rong Zhu, of all people. BJJ black belt, training out of Syndicate MMA. I'll be honest with you, Austin. When this guy made it to the UFC, people were just raving. I mean, online, Twitter, gamblers, people were, oh, he's so fucking good. This guy's so good. And I ran back through his tape, and I was just like, I don't see it. I'm just, am I missing something? Everyone is super high on this guy, and I'm not understanding why. So I thankfully dodged that bullet when he made his UFC debut. But I will give him credit where it's due. He's a good grappler. He's pretty light on his feet. He does do the whole coiled wrestling explosive thing, right? He'll throw the overhand. You're not sure if he's blasting a double leg or if he's going to actually punch you. He ducks and rolls with his hooks pretty well. He's got that clubbing power that a lot of these grapplers do have. He's really slick on the mat, man. He's really smooth. And he is strong, too. When he got in on Rong Zhu for a takedown, he, lifted this guy up and bodied him around the cage. That's how he got him to the ground. It wasn't like your, finessing type of double. It was like a no, bitch, I'm putting you on your back. I like to see that. And one of my big pet peeves about these guys from Road to UFC is, frankly, I don't believe that they've got the strength most of the time, right? Like, a lot of these guys don't grow up cutting weight like a lot of American wrestlers do and stuff like that. So they're a little bit lanky. They're a little skinny. You know what I mean? It's very rare that you get a guy that comes over and is able to match someone his same weight that's cutting an extra 10 pounds to get down to bully them in the weight class. So I'm automatically in the fade Road to UFC category, you guys. I know Kody Steele is 0-1 in the UFC so far, but he's the guy I think is winning this fight. And I know the chat is already upset at me. You guys knew this was coming. Kody Steele is a minus 205 favorite. Dalmar Fan is plus 170. And I just lost doing this last week with Palistri, but it would be the close your eyes, value doesn't matter, pick the winner. I think Kody Steele is going to win this fight. So for me, it's favored or nothing. I definitely do not want to lay 2-1 on this kid, though. Like, that's the thing. I can't say 1 week that he sucks and I don't understand why people like him and then turn around and lay minus 200 on him the next week. That's not going to happen. So I'm picking Kody to win, but from a betting perspective, can't do it. What do you think of this one here, Austin?
Yeah, I will say, Clint, I've been totally on your same vibe, and I hate Road to UFC because it mucks up my data as far as they do give like fight stats for Road to UFC and Dana White's Contender Series, and it's against people that aren't that sort of caliber, so it mucks up the data. But I will say that I'm willing to maybe just a little bit concede to Road to UFC now that they've added some of the Australia, New Zealand guys, because I feel like there is a little bit more regional talent there than when it was just specifically East Asia and things like that. And Dalmar Fan is one of these examples where his 2 pro losses are to Quillan Salkilld. Salkilld tapped him twice. And I was actually very impressed. I was on Frogman, Sungwook Kim. I hope I said that correctly in his last name. But I was on Frogman in that particular fight. That dude has a granite chin because Dalmar Fan was hitting him. I think the only thing I'll say, because I'm no film expert like you, I like that the fact that Dalmar Fan throws in combination. I feel like he puts 2, 3, 4, 5 together. Not the biggest power threat. He'll have a 4-inch reach edge here. Really, the question is Steele too big for him? Can just get him right to the mat, manhandle, and put up over 10 minutes of control time, or even find a submission? The answer to that question, yes or no, is whether or not Kody Steele is going to cover this number. And Clint, I had the same opinion on Steele as you, and I still was a dummy and fell for the trap because I'm like, who loses to Rongju in particular? And the only thing I'll say, we got a little bit of a measuring stick here. Rongju actually beat Sungwook Kim, Frogman. He was a little bit more competitive with Rongju when those two fought on Road to UFC than Kody Steele was. So I think we're in this same sort of competition tier. I think it's dog or pass just because of how I feel about Kody Steele. But I haven't put out Dalmar Fan. I probably won't by the time I get to my show on Wednesday either, because yuck with a Road to UFC debutant and then Steele coming off the loss in his debut.
Yeah, I'm with you now that it's not all Asian prospects. And again, I know we're not stop Asian hate. We're not doing that, right? But when it comes to the cage fighting, we just call balls and strikes.
Yeah, it's a
talent pool. With the widening talent pool, we may have to specify, because Road to UFC is not what it was when I said fade Road to UFC anymore. So that's definitely worth noting. Now, I do have to ask the chat here, though, because my guy Vinzi is saying, Clint, I promise Mr. Fan is different. Why, Vinzi? Why? Tell me why. Get in that chat. Tell me why. I will circle back to it. My man Tim in the chat says Kody Steele, one of the dumbest MFers to ever do it, attempting 4 takedowns versus Zoo and getting outstruck 3-1 all fight. Absolutely. Dixon Sider saying, Clint, briefly, any NHL side action tonight. Us D-Gens can tail at our own risk. Unfortunately, my friend, I should have gotten to that sooner. I was on the under 1.5 in the first period of the Penguins and the Flyers, so that hit. I wish I had thought to put that out there earlier. The game kicked off before the stream did, so sorry, guys, missed you on that one. I do like the Penguins, that if this thing ends up getting into the third and they're still up by 1 score, if there's like 4 minutes left in playoff hockey, they pull the goalie early, bet the minus 1.5 puck line on the Penguins to score an empty net goal. Now, the Flyers might tie it up and send it to overtime, so this is strictly like watch the game very closely, and with a couple minutes left, if they're up by 1, then pull that move. Leave it alone. I like my Coyotes, or Utah Mammoth now these days, I guess, and I like the over 5.5. That's all I got for tonight. Yes, it is a homer pick, but I legitimately believe that they are winning this series. But tonight, I like the over more than I like the side. I will say that. So over 5.5, minus 120, I think, is what I got. So for you NHL DJs out there, if you guys are liking some action, there you go. Logan Cooley, if you want a goal prop for the Utah Mammoth, Logan Cooley. All right. Let's keep it rolling here, though. Maybe Vinzi got back to me. He said, trust me, he is good everywhere. Street Buddha. Okay. I mean, Vinzi says trust. I got to tell you guys, it is tough for me. It's tough for me from this seat because so many of you interact with me. So many of you want what's best for me. But there are people on the internet who simply do not like my face. And there are people who don't want me to be doing well, right? So when people hit me with the trust me, bro, I don't always just straight up tail, because I can't always verify that it's in my best interest. Now, obviously, you guys who are regulars here in my chat, I can and do listen to you guys, but I also will go broke if I tail every single play, every single one of you guys give me. It's just too much action. But Vinzi pulling the trust me move. I mean, you know what? The first time for everything. Maybe we just say trust Vinzi and we go for the dog shot here this week to start the event here for Dalmar Fan. I'll think about it. Maybe we do it this week. Let's move it along though. We lingered a little too long on this first fight of the night. Next up, you've got Jonathan Micallef, and he takes on Themba Gorimbo. And I cannot tell you, Austin, just how excited I could be to be up at 2 a.m. watching Themba Gorimbo try to wet blanket somebody for this weekend's fights. Oh, he's going to put people to sleep if he's in the driver's seat of this fight, man. Jonathan Micallef is 9-1, 27 years old, 2-0 so far in the UFC. Won his debut against Kevin Jousset, which he was a decent-sized underdog, plus 225, something like that. Big win for him to start his run here. And then he's pick him against Elliott, and he got the win there, which that one speaks volumes to me. Elliott is a guy who I think is well-rounded, who's solid. Like, you don't just run past that guy. So getting that win means something to me. The Kevin Jousset one, not so much. Jonathan looks strong, pretty physical, good underhooks, good submission defense. He's a good grappler himself, actually. I believe he started his career as a grappler. Good reversals, good sweeps. He's dangerous from his back. And then on his feet, he's developed this really beautiful kicking game. He likes to beat up the inside leg kicks. He chips away with the body kick. It's that left side body kick. And then he'll do that thing where it's like hip to elbow. If your arm is in the way, he's going to beat the hell out of your arm. So you don't have use of that power weapon, or he's going to get your liver. And then after you get tired of taking those body shots, he goes high. He'll go up to the head. So he's very dangerous with that kicking game and methodical, the way he just chops at people and keeps on walking forward. The downsides for Jonathan is I feel like he's a bit slow. He's a touch slow, but he's got good timing. So he kind of makes up for it with his good timing and thinking ahead and things like that. He also carries his hands low. And that is a concern for me because somebody is going to make him pay for that. Now, I know he defends takedowns pretty well because of it, but somebody is going to clip him with something big. He's got a 75% takedown defense rating per the UFC stats, but guys, be careful. He's only faced 4 UFC takedowns. So that's a really small sample size that we don't necessarily want to buy our way into yet at this point. Themba Gorimbo, 35 years old. He's on a 2-fight losing streak right now. And for God knows what reason, the UFC just loves this guy. I mean, I know he's got a fun story and all that, but like The Rock came out of left field and like vouched for him. And it's kind of a crazy story with Themba Gorimbo. Very naturally physically gifted. He's an athlete. He's explosive. He's training to be a wet blanket grappler. He gets on top of people and just smothers them, just grinding offensive wrestling. Good cardio, knows how to like redline and keep pushing. But then every once in a while, he shows some flashes of brilliance with his finishing ability as well.
October 2022, where he flatlines Mike Jackson. Oh, Themba with a huge shot. Sits Rodriguez down. And he punches his way to victory. Themba Gorimbo.
I know Stinky Pete is not a UFC caliber guy, but that kind of a big ass overhand, man, if he hits you with that thing, he's gonna hurt you. The UFC gave him a couple of steps up. It didn't pan out. We're pretty sure he's just kind of a mid-tier grinder at this point because at 35 years old, he's not destined for the title. He's not going to make massive leaps of improvements or anything like that. But there's something on the back of my neck that tells me the UFC still wants to put this guy in a position where he can win. You know what I mean? They still like him enough that they'll give him those softball fights. So he's in enemy territory. He's going against the hometown guy here in this spot, in Jonathan Micallef. And because of his last couple of losses, he is the underdog. Jonathan is a minus 265 favorite. Themba is a plus 215 underdog. And I got to tell you, man, this one's a really tough fight for me to call because that 75% takedown defense, pardon me, it is fraudulent in my opinion. I don't know how good this guy's takedown defense really is. And Themba's gonna test it. Now, if Themba gets top position, Jonathan is not a mark. From his back, he is extremely aggressive and dangerous. So the fight's not even over then. But I can just so clearly see a path to victory for Themba to win this fight by decision if Jonathan keeps like accepting bottom position and going down. Now, if we get stuck on the feet, obviously I think Jonathan's going to piece Themba up pretty badly. But it's a matter of can he get it to the mat or not? And I'd be tempted to say dog or pass, but I really don't want to catch a falling knife with a guy like Themba who's 0-2 and barely UFC caliber.
Yeah, I'm a little different. Micallef's my favorite of the week. I
really
play him ITD. I think he's a young, athletic, developing guy. Really good. We saw in the Louie fight with Gorimbo that he got caught in a front choke. I've always questioned a little bit his submission defense skills ever since going back to AJ Fletcher. There's a throwback in his UFC debut as well. Themba to me is a little bit of a jobber. He's listed 35. I actually think he might be older than that coming over from Zimbabwe, just based on some facial analytics stuff. And you never know with some of it's a big thing in baseball, as well. Different sports, things like that. You never know if it translates.
Oh, it's like RoboCop. That guy's 45.
yeah. Like you never know 100%. And that's just my gut feeling. And whereas Micallef, that Elliott win, I hold in high regard because I think Elliott's better everywhere than Themba Gorimbo, including he doesn't quite have the same cardio and that same volume wrestling attack. But I respect that Elliott win like crazy. I was on Oban in that fight, and I can't get past it when I consider that Themba's got that weakness. I think the distance battle here isn't even particularly close. The one thing you'll say is Jusei is proven to be a little bit chinny in PFL, but he was a good, efficient per-minute striker in the UFC, and Micallef beat him at distance. So the way he beat those guys was very, very impressive to me. And then you add in, I understand your point about, I feel like this is the UFC waving goodbye to Themba a little bit. The Jeremiah Wells fight didn't go his way. He's now given up 4 submission attempts in his last 2 fights. That's really scary going into Micallef, but I actually think, like I always do, I'm going to take the contrarian KO angle here because I just think where Micallef pours it on in this fight is able to keep his balance and his keep this thing at distance. And I think Micallef throws those kicks. He throws those powerful strikes. I really like Micallef by KO here, and I'm going to try to talk Maddie into it on our show on Wednesday.
There you go. All right. I like it. It's definitely one that, I don't feel great about either way. So if anything, I'll let you talk me into a side here because I've never been high on Themba. I'm not sure what Jonathan is at this point. So
sure.
Getting a glowing review from you means something to me. So we'll switch. We'll switch over to favorite or pass from dog to pass. Let's keep it rolling, you guys. Next up, we got Wes Schultz, and he's taking on Ben Johnston. Wes Party Time Schultz is 8-3, 29 years old. He's one of these 2 times Dana White's Contender Series prospects that, Austin, I just want to fade the hell out of. I feel like if you need more than one shot to get it done on Dana White's Contender Series, you might as well be in the road to UFC. This guy is 0-1 in the UFC, and to be fair to him, he lost to Damian Pinas, which that guy's a beast. So we're all going to be making Pinas jokes for a very long time in the UFC because he's very good. So no shame losing that fight. But you go back to his Dana White's Contender Series fight, and he got starched by Mansour Abdul Malik. This guy seems to have a problem with power punchers. I don't want to call him chinny, but like if you're quicker than him, if you're more explosive than him, he gets backed up and he'll give up the big bomb. So you got to watch out for that with him. He is quick on his feet, lots of rangy stabbing kicks, but he gets wild, man. Too many spins, like constantly just doing weird stuff, constantly spinning attacks. He is good in scrambles if the fight does hit the mat. He's got a decent guard game. I noticed he has good use of his butterfly hooks. He does a good job of building back to his feet when he needs to, but I'm not sure about anything else. I'm not sure about his cardio. I'm not sure about his durability, and I don't like his overall game. Like I said, he's just kind of wild in there, and I don't think it works for him. Ben Johnston is 5-1, 35 years old, welcome to Perth. He's a city kickboxing guy. You're going to see a lot of those on this card. This is his UFC debut. He skipped Dana White's Contender Series. He is the hometown guy that they are throwing on the card. And Austin, I feel like we're seeing that more and more often recently. It's like the bum in Canada that got his ass choked out, knocked out in the first round. Like, they're straight up just being like, you, come on. Like, they're filling in a show here. Ben Johnston's the lucky enough guy to get his hand raised. Only having 6 professional fights, massive red flag, in my opinion. But he looks like he's got a good sprawl. He's got that CKB staple chopping calf kick. It does look like he has very good hips. He moves well around the cage. And when he gets on top of people, he's very aggressive in top position. It seems like he's kind of an underrated grappler. City kickboxing known for their striking, not known for their grappling. And this guy is a very dangerous grappler. In fact, he's got 4 wins by submission. So he's not the caliber striker that everybody else is at the gym. It's kind of weird to see somebody that's built this way coming out of city kickboxing of all places, but he's fought absolutely nobody. I mean, just cans over in Eternal MMA. Awful level of competition. The guy that knocked him out, the only guy that had like a winning record, went on to be like 7-4. So he's still just like kind of a middling mid-tier type of guy. His very best win is an 11-5 guy, which is like, okay, that's like an all right record. We see UFC guys with 11-5 records, but regional guys with 11-5 records are not very good. I don't think Ben Johnston is good at all. I don't think Wes Schultz is good at all. This is a complete stay away, man. Like, unless you're just the whisperer here and you can tell me something that I don't know that's going to blow my mind, like, this is the kind of fight that I want absolutely nothing to do with, because this is fading shit with shit. Like, one of these guys is going to win a fight. I don't know who the hell it's going to be. We have got Wes Schultz as a plus 140 underdog. You can get the favorite, Ben Johnston, minus 160. What do you think, Austin?
Yeah, I'm not going to force you to bet this fight. We're too good of friends for that. I will say that I think this is a little bit of the letting the line do the talking. You mentioned Julian LeBlanc as the bum in Canada referenced earlier. He was an underdog to Rob Zilla, and Rob Zilla has had all these struggles in UFC.
Hey,
they
no Rob Zilla slander will be allowed on this podcast.
But they kind of told us the answer, right? They told us the answer here. The fact that this guy has been off for over 2 years, and he's a regional guy from Eternal MMA. He's kind of like a Western Australia like folk hero. You hear the crowd going nuts for this dude with Eternal. So like, he's very popular there, but he hasn't fought in over 2 years. I think the fact he's favored here comes down to Schultz and his limitations. And I have a feeling, Clint, there's this area of like LFA middleweights where the public cannot stop coughing up money, throwing it at them. It's like this Dylan Budka, Wes Schultz, Azamat Bakoyev. They all fought each other. They all appeared on the Contender Series, and everyone thinks they're kind of good. I think they're all horrible. And Schultz lost to Budka, who phased out of here after a cup of coffee as well. And like, you saw Schultz in the Pinas fight, wasn't a fair fight. The physicality kept Pinas on his feet, and it was over, I believe, in the first round, if I'm not mistaken there. Johnston, to me, I think the sprawl, the jab, the low kick are going to be obstacles for Schultz if he's not able to get this fight to the ground. And I think the submission stuff regionally at least inspires enough hope that he's well-trained enough on the ground to survive. Mm-hmm. And then I think Schultz is the one that's going to be spending the energy trying to grapple early in this fight. So I kind of lean Johnston as a straight pick with absolutely zero confidence, but I am not going to make you bet this fight.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you, man. I think, I mean, if Johnston had gone anywhere outside of his regional scene and gotten a win, maybe I'd have more confidence, but he could just be complete ass. Wes Schultz, again, 2 times Contender Series prospect. This could be the spot where the UFC is like, hey, sorry for sacrificing you to these big muscly black men. We'll give you a softball, buddy. Like, we'll give you a regular fight. I could see Wes Schultz just tearing this guy a new one. So I don't want anything to do with it, man. We'll move on from that one. We don't need to waste any more of the viewers' time on that fight. Next up, no. I said not waste more time. I said not waste more time on that fight. My bad, guys. Next up, we have got Colby Thicknesse taking on Vince Morales, and I love this fight, Austin. Just a complete opposite from our last fight. Last fight, it's confusing, it's weird. I don't know who these guys are. I hate it. This fight, I know who both these guys are. I love them. This is a great fight. I can't wait for this one. Colby Thicknesse is 8-1, 26 years old. He is 1-1 so far in the UFC. I lost a bet when he fought Ilia Toporia's little bro. I really thought that the worst of the two Toporias was kind of going to be like the worst of the two Azatar brothers, where it's like, okay, we know you're here because your brother is Ilia, but you're not very good. So I thought Colby was going to get him, but it went all 15. He showed toughness. He showed good gamesmanship. He avoided the power hand of Topuria for the most part in that fight. He's got a good frame. He's tall. He's lanky. He's very aggressive with his takedowns and his grappling. He likes to back you off at range with his kicks. That left kick of his is extremely snappy. Sometimes he'll flash the knee when you get in close. I like his footwork. He's shifty. I really like everything about Colby's game so far to this point from what I've seen. He took some damage early when he fought Mousasi, and he showed that he can keep a cool head even when taking damage, and then really turn the fight around from there. He didn't get the finish, but he was getting in on takedowns in that fight, and it wasn't just like a one shot and then quit type of effort. It was a second shot. It was a third shot. It was whatever it took to get the takedown. And finally, when he got it to the mat, he was aggressive with his ground and pound. He was just relentless and showed good cardio. I like Colby. I like Colby a lot. Now, Vince Morales is 16-10, 35 years old, and he is one of these mangy old dogs that I kind of like at this point. The UFC gave him a really rough road. He got cut. He beat everybody's ass on the regional scene, and they said, okay, fine, come on back, kid. And then they just threw him to the wolves right again. Man, his first fight back was Taylor Lapilus. Like, the fuck? Like, what are you doing, UFC? Really messed up. So he, once again, is on an 0-3 run in the UFC, and it's all just guys that are going to be good, man. His entire run right now is people who we have earmarked as talents. Taylor Lapilus, I know the UFC cut him because he's boring, but like he's whooping ass in the PFL. Yep. Elijah Smith, Raul Rosas Jr., like it's all really, really good fighters at this point, and he gives every single one of them a tough go. He has great cardio. He's very durable. He's a good boxer. He's just not aggressive enough, man. That's kind of the thing. I feel like he survives what his opponent brings to the table, and then he just doesn't have that go and get it type of striking. He doesn't go all in trying to hurt his opponent and get that win. But what he does do is he goes all in on the grappling. When people slow down in that third round, this kid is hell on wheels. We're talking Peruvian neckties. We're talking Darce and Anaconda chokes. Like his front choke attack series is incredible, and he almost submitted both Elijah Smith and Raul Rosas Jr. in the third rounds of their fights. I mean, it was dangerously close for both of those guys. You give him just a tiny little break in competition, and I think he's going to start choking people out. The question is whether or not we think Colby is that slight break in competition at 26 years old. And I will say, guys, I kind of feel like Colby's takedowns, he leaves his neck exposed, Austin. Like he really sticks his head right where you want to attack those front chokes. I am absolutely going to play Vince Morales round 3 sub, you guys. I have to. And if you want to get excited, wait until MGM exact subs come out and look for those Peruvian necktie chokes. Look for the Darce and the Anaconda. Now, with a guy like this who's gone for it so many times, the numbers are not going to be the 200 to 1s like they are sometimes. He's shown that he can attack those. They'll definitely mute the numbers a bit, but it's still going to be like 30 to 1, 40 to 1. So you should get some kind of a crazy number on that if you want to go that way. But am I crazy for kind of liking Vince Morales a little bit here to pull the upset? Now, I don't want to play him pre-flop. That's kind of the problem. I feel like Colby's going to win this fight right up until he doesn't. So I like the round 3 sprinkle for Vince Morales, but I don't love the money line. I almost think I would treat it kind of like I did with the Zalal fight. You wait until round 1 gets by you and then jump in if you're getting like a plus 250 or something like that.
Yeah, dude, this fight's a killer because the human element of me wants to see Vince Morales win because he deserves to have a win on his record and not a 5 straight losses because of who he's had to fight.
Seriously.
But I did have a model result here. I've got Thicknesse at 61.9%, so I see good value at minus 130. Younger guy, I really like Thicknesse a lot too. Training with Joe Lopez, Alexander Volkanovski's head coach. I think he could do everything. The Topuria fight on short notice was a crazy first assignment. And then Mousasi has grappling limitations, but he's a big, powerful guy. I don't think Vince Morales is going to be sparking Colby Thicknesse on Saturday. I think that's the one thing I kind of am putting off the table. But Vince to me is just, he is almost limited to his upside is these tight decisions because he's not a guy with a ton of power. We've seen the submission attempt volume really ratcheted up since he came back into UFC, but he hasn't converted one yet. And I'm worried against the black belt and Thicknesse that maybe he won't convert another one here. So you're kind of in this decision land. And I feel like Thicknesse is the slightly higher volume guy. I think he's in this improvement window at only 26 where I tend to buy these guys. And my brain says buy low spot on Vince Morales, but that's kind of why I have my analytical model. It says when you look at the gauge, when you look at the level of competition, when you look at the developmental window here, Thicknesse is probably not a bad bet. It doesn't even factor in this is the home country matchup as well here too. So like I analytically like Thicknesse here, but I haven't bet him. I really got to see where this number goes because like I just don't have a good feeling about it when Vince is in all these grimy decisions. It's like just like last week, it's like, am I laying minus 130 with one of those? It doesn't feel right, you know?
Completely agree with you, man. It's tough because like so from a fan perspective, Vince is an Arizona boy. Like I badly want him to get a win. And I've been watching him in the UFC and all of his runs and cheering myself hoarse. I've lost money betting on this guy multiple times because of just the way he fights. He's a good dude. He's obviously UFC level. It just, if they gave him like an age appropriate fight instead of like a young hot gun that we know is going to be destined for the top 15, like he could totally get a win. They refuse to match make him well. His manager fucking sucks.
Agreed.
So I just, at the end of the day, if Colby doesn't get choked out, I think he wins the fight.
Okay.
If he slips up and leaves his neck out there, you are not getting that back from Vince Morales. So I'm tempted to play sub props on Vince. I'm tempted to play the round 3, but if we're talking money line, I think I've got to go Colby.
Yeah, 2-3 sub is going to be a good number here too because he's an underdog. He hasn't converted one yet, so that'll be a good number.
Yeah. And Tim saying Clint being greedy, bet the sub and then add sub round 3. You'll be pissed when he subs in 1 or 2. You are absolutely correct, my friend. Now it depends on the numbers, obviously. But if I was going to do it in a case like this where you've got a spamming takedown artist, I probably would do that where I would split the sub and the sub round 3 and not only play the round 3. But it's a good note. It's definitely something to speak up on for the people in the chat listening and stuff like that. Shout out my guy Super Green Samurai says get the likes up please. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. And everybody, that's the easiest way you guys can help me out is if you hit that like button for me. I really appreciate it. Here we go. Austin, I apologize. I'm gonna have to kick you off for 1 second. I gotta full screen this. All right, people, are you ready for this? Vinzi says, Clint, I have decided to stake my entire reputation on Don Mar fan money line. Book it. Vinzi, my friend, I am tailing. He's staking his entire reputation on Don Mar fan as a plus 170 underdog. And because of the balls that he has shown, I will trust them because we trust balls right here on the Die Hard MMA podcast. Vinzi's whole reputation and my money are going to be on Don Mar fan. Let's fucking go, my friend. We'll do it.
Just wait. Watch the line. You could get a better number on it.
I feel like Kody. I saw it go up to minus 225. And then it went back down to minus 205.
Okay,
so for me,
good.
I've kind of already seen what I need to see. I doubt we're going to get a drastically different price tag. And if I'm betting a dog, Austin, I would much rather lock in the plus 170. If it drops to plus 160, I'll be pissed.
Yeah, good point.
And my guy Dream knows what's up, says, always trust your balls. In this case, I am trusting Vinzi's balls, but, little gay, but so what? We'll do it. Let's go, everybody. Next up, you've got Jacob Malkoun, and he takes on GM3, Gerald Meerschaert. And Austin, this has got to be the funniest fight on the entire card because Jacob Malkoun is a whopping minus 1,200. You guys, Malkoun is 12-1. It's obnoxious. I mean, I get it because Gerald Meerschaert is obviously a broken shell of himself, but 12-1 with this guy, let's talk about it here, okay? Because we all know GM3, we all know Gerald, 37-21, piles of experience, 3 whole fighters' lifetimes worth of experience on this guy as far as fight miles goes. 38 years old, 4-fight losing streak, back-to-back losses by finish. Got choked out by Kyle Dawkins, which really surprised me, frankly. And then he got knocked out by Mikhail Oleksiejczuk, which didn't surprise me at all. But not too long ago, man, he went to the limit with RDR. He went a full 15 minutes, digging deep, slugging it out with a guy like Reiner de Ritter. You can never count this guy out. He's got herky-jerky boxing, but he's got underrated power. That club and sub is something that he is known for. He goes to it and hits it very well. He overextends on his striking sometimes, but that's because he really doesn't give a fuck about the grappling. Like, if you take this guy down, he's more comfortable down there than he is on the feet. So he can tie you in a pretzel once it gets down to the ground. But Jacob Malkoun, 9-3, little short on experience at this point, 30 years old. He's Rob Whittaker's training partner. 3-2 in his last fights, but that includes the DQ loss to Cody Brundage, which, thank you, Cody. We cashed the 20-1 round 1 KO DQ prop, which was just glorious.
Good for you.
Thank you. Jacob Malkoun has pillow fists, man. I mean, nobody else on the roster really has pillow fists the way Jacob Malkoun has pillow fists. He really doesn't do damage to anybody. His TKO over Andre Petrowski, you guys, is quite literally the biggest fluke in UFC history. You've got to see this if you haven't seen it before.
So let's take a look. Reaches for the leg. Malkoun pushes away, turns, dragging the leg out, and then he just goes down. I didn't see anything.
And then that.
But that's perfectly legal.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, kick to the body of the ground opponent.
Yep.
I didn't see a punch there, but did a short shot get through? He lost his equilibrium.
The UFC broadcast was so confused, they couldn't figure it out either. This guy knocked himself out on Jacob Malkoun's hip. Like, that's how he got his first UFC TKO. And then in his last fight, he's fighting Torres Finney, okay? And Torres Finney's a Spectation Sports guy. You guys know we link up with Spectation Sports. We're cheering for him. He blows his ACL out in the first round of that fight. He is a sitting duck. He is helpless. Yeah, he got dropped once, but he's on one leg the entire fight. Still went the full 15 minutes. Like, Jacob Malkoun can't do shit to anybody, man. And so, yes, we're looking at this and we're going, you know what? Gerald Meerschaert is old. Gerald Meerschaert is really busted at this point. His chin is completely gone. But is it so far gone that Jacob Malkoun can legitimately knock this man out? I don't know if anybody's chin is that far gone, frankly, Austin. And we know we're going to be grappling. So we know we're going to be in Gerald Meerschaert's realm. We know he can choke literally anybody out in the entire world. It's a really bad spot because the UFC is saying, hey, guys, Jacob Malkoun is winning this fight, and we're going to put the number so high, nobody can make money betting it. That's all this is. So good luck. You're a fish in a barrel if you bet on Gerald Meerschaert, but you're not making money on Jacob Malkoun. That's what the books are saying. So it is dog or pass, Austin. It is absolutely dog or pass. And I don't know how anybody could ever bring themselves to do this, but betting on a knockout prop with Jacob Malkoun, I mean, I want to find, let me see here. I got to see if I can find a number here because it's going to be laughable. Jacob Malkoun, let's see here. Where'd it go? Points. By KO. Guys, it is plus 125. Jacob Malkoun by knockout is plus 125. Like, I understand in literally any other circumstance when you've got a 12-1 favorite, why a finish prop like that would be essentially even money. But this is Jacob Malkoun. This guy, you can take a nap on this guy's fists, and not because he hit you with them. Like, it's memory foam.
Do you have the other two numbers? What his submission decision?
So his sub prop is plus 275, which
Okay. I'm
never betting anybody to submit Gerald Meerschaert. I know Dawkins just did it, but he is the Darth Knight. The decision prop, Jacob Malkoun by points is plus 225. Oh my God. We got to bet that.
I'm not surprising. I'm outside of range on all three of those as far as my model results concerned. So I don't see any value there.
You see no value on Malkoun?
No,
decision
no,
plus
because
225?
so here's a fundamental lesson of why I will never you'll never catch me betting these minus 1200s between two guys who've been in UFC this long, because there is no way that a matchup could be made like this between veterans where one guy is north of 80% to win. I've got Malkoun minus 330, which to me feels like a very fair price as far as like what you would assign a percentage to. I got inside the distance minus 111, and then all of his props between like plus 230 to plus 320, kind of somewhere in there, pretty evenly split. Meerschaert in this spot has beaten tougher guys than this, and just because it didn't, the Erceg matchup was a nightmare. Dawkins has more power in his hands. I kind of lean points anecdotally too, Clint, but like there's no money left in betting this at this point, as you were saying.
Okay. Oh man, yeah, it's interesting. Tim, and some other people are in the chat. Super Green Samurai is outraged, telling us to take GM3 at this number, which I completely understand.
Yeah,
Dream with maybe my favorite comment of the entire show. That's disrespectful to Malkoun's hip bone. It has legendary power.
I mean, Petrosky is so chinny. I mean, you want to talk about a guy that's so chinny. I mean, he knocked himself out, and then we saw the Rowston fight. He's a chinny guy for sure.
He's another one that's just gone. But I mean, nobody has ever been knocked out by a takedown chinny. That's next level.
Yeah. So do you think you can get to Meerschaert in any capacity, or are you thinking Malkoun points?
I don't think I can, man. Like his last two fights, just watching his brain rattle around the way they did. I mean, I can't do it. Like I know he's at a good gym. I know he's training with guys like Bilal and like, I love the guy, but like the one thing I've seen from Malkoun is he knows what the hell he's doing on the ground. You know what I mean? Like if he gets caught or something like that, Gerald is going to welcome him to the mat. He'll lay on his back and let him take him down. And then he'll just sit on top of him. Like Malkoun will just stay defensive and grind away minutes and just sit on his chest. And that's why I think the decision prop might actually be the best option, because that's how this guy wins. He couldn't knock out a one-legged Torres Finney. So I don't know if I'm going to count on him to knock out a Gerald Meerschaert. I feel like this is one of those spots where back in the day, Austin, I took Bo Nickel by knockout in like, what was it? Is like his third fight or whatever in the UFC, where he sparked that dude in the first round. Everyone thought I was insane. And it was because his money line was 15-1 and his decision prop was minus 250. And they gave me plus 250 on the knockout. That I was like, look, if this guy is that fucking good, like he can win in whatever way he wants to. And he probably wants to get a highlight reel KO. So I'm going to throw a dart and hope I hit. This is kind of that same thing. Malkoun is probably going to win this fight, except he's not that fucking good. He's not a blue chip prospect. I think this guy is going to struggle a little bit with a guy like Gerald Meerschaert. So yeah, maybe he lands on him and maybe he gets the knockout, because that's just how dust Gerald Meerschaert is at this point. But if Gerald is in there at all, this is a fight.
Yeah.
And this guy goes to decision always. So plus 200, that seems kind of like a gift.
Yeah. I kind of like goes the distance as well. Just because GM3's number is going to be free there. I don't think Malkoun can submit him and vice versa. So I will say GM3 is bigger than Malkoun is. When they swear off at faceoffs, I bet GM3 is going to be bigger, which will make a big deal if Malkoun takes his usual game plan. So
probably so.
I agree with you that I think that we can't squeeze blood from a turnip here.
Yeah, no, this one's tough. But I will say, guys, the dogs are barking. You know, last week we had over half the card underdogs coming through. So it's that time. Every single time, man, when MMA goes on this big old run of whether it be dogs or favorites, there is a moment where it swings, because this sport is freaking insane. And now the dogs are barking. So now's the moment. You know, if you got a dog you like, stake your claim. Have no fear. They're back. Let's get into it, man. Next up, we got Junior Tafa taking on Kevin Christian. I always shout out my guy Liam picks fights. He says the Tafa brothers are the worst to ever do it. I got to respect him for that. Junior Tafa is the younger of the two Tafa bros. He is 6-5. He's just 29 years old. He's 1-4 in his last 5, Austin. This guy is ass in the UFC, but only on the ground. He's actually a very good striker, and dropping from heavyweight to 205, while like we talked about at the beginning of the show, the skill differential is definitely an issue. I think it was a wise move for him, because the guys at heavyweight were just too big. Like anybody could take him down. whenever they wanted to. You're starting to see he's developing some takedown defense. You're starting to see he understands, hey, I can't go to the ground with these guys. I got to be able to get up. I got to be able to shuck these guys off me. And in his last fight, he got submitted in round 2 instead of in round 1 because he was defending takedowns early. Now, eventually, if you're just relentless and you keep on going, you might end up getting to him, and he sucks on the ground, so he will give up the takedown. But what happens if you get stuck on the feet with this guy?
Very close to being finished. The fact that he managed to get hold of him, that saved him from going unconscious, that's for sure.
Oh, man, nice elbow there from Tafa. Clean elbow from Tafa. Now an uppercut followed by a hook. That's gonna do it.
Yeah, this dude's got fire in his hands. Now, his opponent here, Kevin, is 9-3. He's 31 years old. He's 0-1 in the UFC so far off Dana White's Contender Series. He also lost to Billy Elikana, which, no shame, Billy Elikana seems like a pretty good prospect at this point. He's an LFA veteran with a 100% finish rate. This guy always does go for it. But, man, on Dana White's Contender Series, Austin, I got to tell you, like, he is comically tall. He is so long and so tall, and he is so fucking slow. I mean, just heavy on his feet, plodding his way forward. Stuck in mud is the way to like describe the way this man moves. He is fast when he explodes, but he doesn't explode very often. He does have kind of a long range findy jab, but he's flat-footed and he's really stiff. I will say he's got an underrated grappling game. When he goes to his back with those long legs, he knows what he's doing. Triangle chokes and submissions. Like, he definitely knows what he's doing from the bottom.
Top not having to do much. But he's in danger here. He's deep. He might have it. He's done. The fatigue and the submission, he's done. He's got the arm as well. That's it. Wow. Kevin Christian get.
So this guy's dangerous on the mat, and that seems like a death sentence for Mr. Junior Tafa. But I got to tell you, Austin, this speaks to me as Tafa's moment. Like, they've got him in his backyard. He's not fighting a UFC caliber guy. They're giving him somebody who will go to his back instead of taking you down. And there's a big difference grappling when you get tired with somebody being on their back versus you being on your back. And a guy who realistically wants to strike, right? This guy's not going to hunt the takedowns. He'll kickbox with Tafa. And if he does shoot takedowns, I think Tafa 2.0 has got the takedown defense to shuck this guy's takedowns. Maybe nobody else, but this guy, I think this is favored or I think Tafa's going to knock this guy the fuck out. Honestly, like, he's so slow. I think Tafa's going to have a huge speed advantage. And I think the UFC is saying, all right, kid, you got 6 more months to get that grappling game fixed up. Here's a win. We'll keep you on the roster. Come back next time. I like Tafa here, believe it or not.
Yeah, I think, as I said, this is throwback to my podcast when I was with Number 5 still. If you like the Tafa spot, bet him round 1 KO, because only one time in either Junior or Justin's career have they won outside the first 2 minutes. It was Sean Sharaf for Junior Tafa in that weird last minute fight there. And you're getting a much better number than the minus 184 or so here. I think that Christian, it definitely is a liability. He's 6'7", 44% striking defense, chin way up in the air. Like, you could absolutely see Junior Tafa landing a big right hand right upside his chin and knocking him out. But at the same time, I could see Christian getting hurt, surviving that, and choking Junior Tafa out from bottom position too. So I think the only thing I like in this fight that feels guaranteed is some sort of violence here. I couldn't even tell you who would be ahead if this fight was going to go all 15 minutes. But like, I can't play Tafa at chalk myself. It's one of those situations where eventually I kind of was this way with Hooper and Gibson Jr. a few weeks ago, where I'm like, I like violence here, but one of these guys is going to end up winning out. And I thought about it, and then I just ended up playing the longer number. I might do something with that with Christian here, but I don't think your spidey sense about the Tafa KO is necessarily wrong, because it's just so easy to see. And I don't think Christian is very good. And I don't think he maximizes his reach well, which is a problem against a guy who, you say this about Tafa, he's got pretty quick hands. And he's got, especially at 205, he's got thunder in him. He dropped Elikana in the first round. So I like violence there. And I'll have to see how the numbers come out for both guys. But it's not a fight I would bet on the money line either side.
Okay. Well, you and I are feeling, about the same way about that speed advantage, and the money line is gross though. That's kind of the thing on this one, you guys. Minus 200 on a Tafa, bro. Not a place I generally want to be, but I do think he wins. I do think he knocks him out, and we just saw Ryan Spann get a win in the second round, so anything's possible, Austin. And that's I'm scared of something stupid with this Tafa bro coming through. He finally gets a win, and maybe he does it in the third round or wins his first decision ever, because that's what's in the air right now. But I do definitely feel like Tafa is the side for me. Tafa or pass, which sounds gross to say, but it is what it is.
Has that sentence ever been uttered by anybody in the history of MMA predictions?
Never. Not once. Not a single time. All right, guys, real quick, let's shout out Spectation Sports. As you know, I work with Spectation Sports, and they are the best, fastest rising regional show ever, anywhere. You guys can get a lot of places that have, lost their Fight Pass subscriptions. You can find them now on Spectation Sports. The LFA prelims are now exclusively on Spectation Sports. We have not one, not two, but 3 events coming up on Saturday this week, you guys. And while UFC Vegas 116 was a boring slog with all those fights going to decision, we had 2 cards going on Spectation Sports that were absolute bangers filled with finishes. You're also going to need this for research purposes, because a lot of these guys are coming up on the new season of Dana White's Contender Series. So if you just need some more MMA action, or if you're looking to do betting research, either way, you're going to want to sign up, and I can help you out. Link in the description below. Promo code DIEHARD will get you 20% off when you sign up over at Spectation Sports. And do me a favor, you guys, give their socials a follow. They're always posting highlights from all the shows and all that kind of stuff. So check them out. You're not going to be disappointed as an MMA fan, because worst case scenario, you're seeing a couple extra knockout clips on your timeline. So check them out. Give them a follow. Tell them Clint sent you.
Nice.
I'm back for UFC Perth. We are talking about this card top to bottom, and I'm joined by my friend Austin Swaim. We're breaking this fight down for you. Please hit that like button. Be sure to check out Austin, his content as well. Link to his socials in the description of the show below. Next fight up, Cam Rowston takes on Robert Bryczek. What a fun fight this should be, man. This should be a banger. This should be an absolute banger. Robert Bryczek is 18-6. He's an old salty dog, man. 35 years old, 5-fight win streak, all by round 1 finishes, snapped by Ihor Potieria. And that is a sentence I never thought I would say.
MMA, bro.
MMA, because it just makes no sense. But it makes me worry about what level this guy really is. He's kind of hell on wheels early in the fight, and he obviously has massive power. We've seen that put to good use. But if a guy like Ihor can finesse you, man, I think you're going to be on the wrong side of some fights in the UFC. Frankly, I feel a little robbed. I tried to bet Brad Tavares against this guy because of what Ihor did to him, and that did not work out for me.
Found his rhythm, great footwork, side to side, circular movement. That's a good shot by Bryczek. Here it comes again. Brad turns it up. He's all out for it. Bryczek seals the deal in Paris.
Brad Tavares is a guy I can always count on to be tough and durable. You can't count on anymore these days, unfortunately. Big win for Robert. He's just a physical monster, man. 11 wins by knockout, power jab. Everything is moving forward. He reminds me a little bit of like a Dricus du Plessis. Like he just wings crazy shit, and if it lands, you're in serious trouble. Kind of basic, but very effective with a good jab and a big cross. He's fun. He's fun. His opponent in this spot is Cam Rowston, who is 14-3, 31 years old. The best name in sports, the Battle Giraffe himself. This guy is from City Kickboxing. He's earned that name, the Battle Giraffe, because he's tall as fuck and it's fun. He's 2-0 off Dana White's Contender Series, but he is one of these 2 times Contender Series competitors, man, that I kind of circled as being a bit of a bum. And I'm not quite sure if he is or not yet, Austin. It's a weird spot for me emotionally. He ran through Andre Petrowski. We talked about him. That man got knocked out by a hip, right? The thunder hip of Malkoun. So I'm not overly worried about that one. He beat Cody Brundage, which again, I'm not overly impressed by him beating Cody Brundage. And if you guys go back and you watch that fight, Kody was landing some big shots on this guy. He's got tall man's defense for days. And Kody was not ready to back down. He actually, for once, bit down on the mouthpiece and went forward instead of just walking himself back to the cage and getting pinned up against it again. And whenever he did that, he clocked Cam Rowston. Now, Cam's durability checked out. Kody, for all of his faults, can hit pretty hard. So I give him a little bit of credit, at least, for having some durability there. And then he was able to just pour it on into the second round, and Kody finally wilted and went down. I like what I've seen so far in the UFC from Cam Rowston, but the level of competition so far in the UFC is exceedingly questionable. The UFC putting him in a spot like this in his own backyard, I think kind of trying to capitalize a little bit on what we just saw from Robert Bryczek. I'm always going to go with the taller, longer, younger of the two fighters. That's definitely going to be the direction that I end up looking. But it's a price thing for me, Austin. Last week, I got shelled, okay? I didn't do well. I lost. But there was a lot of spots on that card that I liked from a breakdown perspective, from a numbers perspective. This card is the opposite because all the numbers are shit. I don't want to lay minus 220 on Cam Rowston. I think he wins this fight, but I do not want to put minus 200 on Cam Rowston. What do you think?
I love Cam Rowston. I tied him together with Micallef at minus 110, so I felt good about that number as well. I think variance is the key word in this handicap between these two. First of all, I think Rowston has all the grappling upside, even though Bryczek is he's this tough, sturdy guy who kind of looks hard to take down. We haven't seen it really with Pateri or Brad Tavares yet, so I don't really have a good feel for how his takedown defense and how his bottom game looks, but I presume Rowston would have the advantage there because he's got the submission stuff regionally. But just the variance of strikes. Bryczek to me is just such a tough sell. I actually bet him against Tavares because I just thought Tavares' chin might be a little bit shot, and it ended up being shot, and we saw that in the Anders fight as well. But Rowston, I feel a little bit better about his chin. He got hit by a couple of big ones by Kody Brando in that first round. In the first round, Kody is no joke. You cashed the Malkoun ticket. You're fully aware. Those first 5 minutes with Kody Brando are not incredibly easy. But then from there, of course, Kody quit, as he kind of tends to do. But I feel like Rowston's array of strikes are bigger. The stat I keep coming back to, Bryczek has landed just 8 leg kicks in 2 fights. He doesn't really throw a lot of kicks out there. I think he does a lot of work with his hands. And when you get a guy at City Kickboxing, I think you got to be a little bit more tricky than that. And that's what really bit him in the Potieria fight, is Potieria was doing spins and he was doing kicks, and he was just kind of scoring, and the optics look better for him. So I like Rowston here, and I think I'm going to go back to what I had against Brundage. I think I'm going to go with the sub props just in case Bryczek's bottom game is not up to snuff. But I think Cam, certainly wherever this fight takes place, I'm a little worried about the giraffe chin. I am, but I do think minus 235 is an okay price.
Okay. All right. And see, this is where you guys, I am not a number cruncher, right? My numbers are they're all up here. It's all the hairs on the back of my neck and the feels. When a guy like Austin tells me that the number's okay, that does have a little bit of an effect. So leaning with the favorite, Austin telling me minus 200 is okay. Maybe I change my tune up a little bit. We'll see if I end up doing something with Cam Rowston, because I do think he's definitely the side, and I do think the UFC is putting him in here. Hoping to get it going. Let's see here. Jay's, what's going on in the chat? He says Quill's money line. Take a screenshot. Whatever, it's a flip. Okay, I'm not sure what that means. Oh, wait. Quillan and Erceg and Lakers money line. Thank me later. Okay. I don't know about the Lakers. I'm not a basketball guy, but we'll take your word for it with the other two. Thanks for tuning into the show. Thanks for joining and giving the play out. Don't worry about the screenshot, buddy. We're not, no one's coming after you. It's all good, but we appreciate the interaction. Next up, we've got Tuivasa, and he takes on Louie Sutherland, the Vanilla Gorilla. Austin, I got to tell you, at this point, I'm starting to feel like this is a Canada card, because Canada is one of the UFC's biggest venues. They want to put on bangers up there. They've got tons of fans up there. It's marketed as one of the biggest cards of the year. Canada sucks. Every Canadian in the UFC right now sucks. You can count them on one hand. One hand is too many. We don't have 5 good Canadians in the UFC right now, Austin. Yep. And what's happening here in Perth, is the same fucking thing. They're like, okay, we've got all these local guys that we've got to go put this show on, and we got to get these boys wins. So guys like we're talking about, like Cam Rowston is getting the 35-year-old dude. Tafa is getting the disappointing guy that probably shouldn't be signed by the UFC, right? Like they're giving these guys matches that they should be able to win. Micallef is getting Themba Gorimbo, who's on the 2-fight skid like we talked about. Like it's just layup. Please put the ball in the basket. Like the UFC is begging these boys, just score. We're giving you a wide open net. And that's exactly what's happening here with Tai Tuivasa. You guys know Tai for his famous shoey. I'm sad to say it's been years since we've seen it. Tai is on a 6-fight losing streak, man. He hasn't won since 2022. I thought he was going to get back on track against Marcin Tybura. I really did. The leg kicks, Marcin getting a little chinnier. He's slowing down, big, heavy dude. I thought Tai was going to wreck him. Didn't happen. Then we get the staring contest with Jairzinho Rozenstruik, which, how did they not give the split to Tai? Like, that's one of those ones where, I want fair judging, right? I want good, accurate, appropriate judging in MMA. But, like, how do you not give Tai the split decision, man? You give Jairzinho the split and then let him walk. It's been gross for Tai Tuivasa. But let's not forget, he turns up in every single fight at some point. You know, he almost knocked out Cyril Gane in the 3rd round of their fight right before he got finished. He really went for broke. And when this guy goes, he is deadly. The leg kicks, the elbows, he doesn't really swing his hardest until he gets rocked, it feels like. So if he gets hurt, he's almost more dangerous than if he's completely stone sober. And he showed that the last time he won when he was fighting Derek Lewis.
Massive right hand. There's a good job, and again, Derek's hurt bad. He's bad. Oh, big elbow. It's not tonight. Ben Tuivasa with the biggest win of the
We all love a good Tuivasa win. It's been way too long since we've gotten one. And the UFC signed this dude from Scotland who is on an 0-2 skid, both by round 1 finish. Brando, Pericic knocked this dude out cold. Walter Walker heel hooked him immediately. When I first broke down Louie Sutherland, I was like, man, he's a big, tough heavyweight. He's like your throwback heavyweight where he's just not good anywhere, but he's bigger and stronger than everybody else. And so to a certain extent, that will work. It's not working at the UFC level. Like he's just not good enough anywhere to hang with these boys. And I think the UFC is straight up going, look, get Tai a win. I wouldn't be surprised, Austin, if Tai retires, win or lose, after this fight. I think he's checked out. I think he's made his money. I don't think he wants to climb the ladder again. But I do think the UFC is going to do everything they can to send him out in one last epic bang of glory. And frankly, I don't know what this guy's got for Tai. Like, Louie will strike with him. And don't get me wrong, he's a heavyweight. He hits hard. But he doesn't have UFC caliber nukes, fight-ending power. If he wrestles Tai, he's not a good enough wrestler to keep him down and hold him down. He's not a submission guy that's going to tap out a guy like Tai Tuivasa. So, like, you check all the boxes, and surprising enough to say, somehow it feels like Tai Tuivasa is better everywhere. And that's another sentence that we just don't normally say. So, yeah, man, it's definitely a Tai Tuivasa forever type of spot, in my opinion. He's currently a minus 180 favorite, plus 155 on Louie Sutherland. And unless Tai is just completely dust at this point, he should win this fight, in my opinion.
I agree with you, Clint. It's the most we've been aligned. I think it's Tuivasa 1-2 KO all day. And like, you think of it this way. This is going to be hard for some people to comprehend. Tai Tuivasa is a better fighter today than the guy who fought Cyril Gane 6 fights ago because of the experience he's had to go through being in bottom position against Taliesin Teixeira. Teixeira can grapple a little bit. Like, that was a really precarious position that he survived in that last fight there. The Jairzinho fight, Rozenstruik will take that low-volume kickboxing match all day, and then a lot of ground troubles. Of course, he ran into Sergey Pavlovich's hands of steel as well. It's a high level of competition that Tai has fought this whole time, man, and it's like I feel like Sutherland is not only a step back from that, he's a step back to the entry point of the roster. We're going to get to Brando Pericic in the next fight. But if Pericic, with his level of competition, his experience, is putting him out right away, I think he is one of these regional heavyweights that can be a star of the show on a regional scene, and he can knock out all these challengers. But when you get him in the UFC, he doesn't have the skills, he doesn't have the chin, he doesn't have the combinations, he doesn't have any of that stuff. Ty is still really good. He's got good, accurate hands, and we know the power is there from when he fought Lewis. I think he puts Sutherland's lights out far worse than Pericic did. I love Ty 1-2 KO in this spot.
Okay. Yeah, we are aligned on this one. It's Ty all day. And frankly, minus 180 is manageable if you want to just bet the money line. Obviously, he probably wins by KO, but we've seen weird things happen before. And his last fight going, not his last fight, but the Jairzinho fight going to decision. Yeah. Don't be shocked if he's too scared to get touched, guys. Like, don't get caught with your pants down here, because he might not go in there and slug it out the way we've seen in the past. He really might like jab and leg kick and keep this thing, at distance where it's peace. So be very careful. I'm tempted to go money line rather than KO.
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, obviously KO decision is going to be such a tight line here. I think the early KO, the reason I like it is because markets tend to gravitate to recent results. Went the distance with Teixeira, went the distance with Rosenstrike. I kind of like coming back to that early side because it might be a little undervalued compared to normal.
Understand. Totally got it. That makes sense to me. All right, guys, let's keep it moving. We're sticking around with the big boys for a little bit. Shamil Gaziev takes on Brando Pericic. Shamil, everybody's favorite volleyball player, and the guy we just talked about in Brando Pericic. What a fun fight. This one should be a fun one. This one should be a banger. I'm still not sure what Gaziev is. Man, he's a very confusing fighter at 14-2. He's 36 years old, so he's a little older than I'd like him to be. 2-2 in his last 4. Got the win against Dante Mays, which was impressive, where he showed a good ability to wrestle against Mays, who used to be a wrestler. But he got knocked out by Jairzinho, and then he deads Thomas Peterson. And then he gets rocked immediately and put out by Waldo Cortez Acosta. It's like, okay, so what are we doing here? He can be aggressive, but he's a little bit chinny for a heavyweight. He's very athletic and he's fast, but he's also a little bit gassy. So if the fight gets extended, that's a big concern. And then he does shit like this.
Peterson stayed on Jamal Pogue's couch this camp. 2 former UFC opponents getting together, share knowledge, help one another improve. And that's it. Walk-off KO. Out.
I mean, Peterson just knew it, dude. He's like, all right, I'm done. Takes his mouthpiece out. It's like, fuck this. I am not fighting this guy anymore. It took him 5 minutes to set that shot up, but as soon as he did, it was over, immediately. So this dude's got heat in his hands whenever he wants to go for it. But I feel like the knock on his cardio and the knock on his durability, I feel like that might be a bigger deal than the offense he's in there slinging. Brando is 6-1, 31 years old. He was scheduled for Dana White's Contender Series, but he got called straight up to the UFC instead. He ends up winning his UFC debut via round 1 ground and pound, which was, pretty fun. Follows that up by putting Louie Sutherland in a box. The guy that we just talked about, I wanted to play that entire clip for you guys because his relentless nature was on full display. The fact that he did not stop throwing punches. He gets taken down. He finds a way to scramble and reverses, finds a dominant position, and then starts chucking bombs again. That's the kind of explosion that we don't see from very many heavyweights these days. That's being able to do that and not standing there asking for a gas mask after that, hoping someone will, bring some oxygen to you like Derek Lewis needed that one time. That a lot of UFC heavyweights can't do that. So this guy's got good speed, good killer instinct, strong hips, heavy hands, good top game. I mean, what's not to love? The one thing I do want to note is after that fight, his coach actually came out and was like, hey, so we wanted to go a little slower. We wanted to take that fight a little easier. But the opponent really dictated the way the fight went, right? Louie went straight for him, so he kind of had to gunfight in that spot. So I'm just going to earmark that, and I don't maybe wonder if we get an over in this fight. because I could very much see Gaziev wanting to take this fight a little slower himself. He's worried about the cardio, doesn't want to get tagged. And then if Pericic is coming out and going, hey, I want to also be a little slower, not necessarily so much in a gunfight in round one, we could see a heavyweight jab fest. We could see a staring contest. We could see a couple guys respecting each other a little bit too much. So I may look for a plus money over 1.5 in this fight. But at the end of the day, I think I got to sell on Gaziev. I think it's time. I know we all love him. I know he's a meme, but I think this is Brando's fight. The young guy, he's at home. And at the end of the day, Gaziev is just, he's middle of the road, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's got definitely some attributes that you don't like to lay chalk with. That's for sure. But I got to tell you, I think I like the big meal here, dude. I like a sell spot. Or it's a buy low spot after the Waldo fight when I think Waldo's a top 3 guy in the world. Like Waldo's hands, his athleticism as a former baseball player.
I was so wrong on Waldo. I was so wrong.
Me too, because his early career was so underwhelming. But then he's really started to turn a corner and understand what he's capable of. But besides that, I mean, I think that's a different tier than we're talking about with Pericic here. And all I'm going to say is say I'm right and Tuivasa knocks out Sutherland inside of 3 minutes. How good are you going to feel with minus 140 Pericic that he took care of Alicia Ellison and Louie Sutherland against a guy that's been in there with ranked fighters? And everyone talks about the Rosenstrike setback because he won that fight if it was only 3 rounds. Like the extra 2 rounds cost him, and this is a 3-rounder here. I think he does have the ability to mix it up with his wrestling. I wish I got the Dagestan chin with the package, but it appears I don't. He's a little bit chinny. But like, man, I even go back to that debut against Martin Budai. Nobody put it on Budai like that. Like Budai has been the great neutralizer for everyone else. He fought Sadie Baldi. Even Sadie Baldi didn't look that good. I think Gaziev is almost being a little bit slept on here. The number is just right there. It's playable. Play the young guy from City Kickboxing. He's the more athletic guy. The longer the fight goes, it'll be better for him. And I kind of think to myself, maybe the old dog at plus 110 is a decent bet here. Now, I haven't bet Gaziev yet because I got to really decide if I want to hitch myself to that wagon. And it's a really big decision. Obviously, no model because Pericic has only been in there for like 4 minutes at this point. But I kind of wonder if it's a y'all must have forgot moment for Shamil Gaziev, which is kind of a wild thing for me to say because early in his career I was the fade Gaziev guy, but yeah, I almost kind of wonder if we're overreacting, maybe just a little bit.
Okay. All right. Interesting. So we're a bit opposite on sides here on this one, you guys. Yeah. This is a more coin flip style price tag. Brando is minus 135. Shamil is the plus 110 underdog. So pick your poison. And reminding ourselves of that decision, the 15-minute decision he won over Jairzinho. I think I'm starting to kind of like that over. Like
I do too.
Let's see what that number comes out at, because right now I don't have a total for you here on this one. But if it's not expensive, if we get a 1.5, that's probably the way I'm looking, because we got 2 guys that are both coming off early finishes. They are going to overcorrect. They're absolutely going to juice this thing. At least I would assume they're going to juice this thing to the under. And I think we could very well see a round 2 finish or even a decision in this kind of a fight.
I love that look. Good thinking, man.
Official VR are asking, where are my bets tracked? I'm old school, man. Spreadsheet. I just put everything out for everybody a couple times a year. I'll just kind of dump my like a block of months worth of stuff. And then I always use hashtag diehardpicks. So that way, if you want to actually like go back and look at everything I've ever posted, I never delete anything. So if you just click like on Twitter, you click diehardpicks, the hashtag, you'll see all my action posted under that hashtag basically forever. So if you really are like wanting to go back and like check everything I've ever picked, that's the way to do it. But also I just load everything up into a spreadsheet every couple of months, and then I'll post an update and tell everybody where I'm at. If you wonder about my transparency, I've posted minus 80 unit years the last 2 years in a row, and I've posted them very publicly for everybody to see. So I'm not like fudging anything, because if I did, it wouldn't look that bad.
Right. Yeah. No, you and my co-host Matt, you guys are 2 of the most authentic guys when it comes to everything's tracked. You can laugh at the minus 20 unit nights, or you can see the plus 20 unit nights. Everything's out there for everyone. So I like that about you a lot.
I appreciate that, man. I mean, the only thing is I understand people want to do like the third party tracking and stuff like that. Someone like once every 2-3 months, somebody comes after me about like the third party tracking thing. And the thing is, I track everything. So I track my live bets and
Yeah.
like all of it. And most of those platforms, they either won't let you track like live bets. Some of them lock the lines. Like, so it ends up being a real hassle, where for me, I'm like, I want the most accurate representation of exactly what I have done. And the only way I can get that is with my spreadsheet, because everybody else has hurdles that you have to jump through. So that's why I do it that way.
You just reminded me I forgot to track last week on the Action app, because I have so many different places I have to track it. You're so right about that.
And that it was a hassle. It was a hassle. It was a pain in the ass. So I had an account on Bet MMA Tips, and I have a day job. I'm not a full-time sports gambler. I'm not a professional gambler. I've told you that a million times. So I've got a full-time day job. I support the wife and kid. I am a dad. So as soon as I get done with my full-time day job, I'm taking care of my family. I have a side job. I also have a podcast. Like, I put in effort, bro. I work. Okay. So at the end of the day, when I've got to track a bet, it just kept being the last thing on my list. It would be midnight and I'd be exhausted and I would crawl into my bed, and then I'd wake up and go, fuck, I forgot to put the bet in on George St. Pierre. And so, you know what I mean? Like, my record on the site ended up being nowhere near representative of what it actually was, which is why I switched to the spreadsheet. Because now, anybody who really wants to like put the cuffs on me, you've got to trust me that I'm putting everything in the spreadsheet. I promise you I am. So, but that's the only way I could do it and get a true, fair, accurate representation of my action.
Yeah,
so
it takes me like a half hour to log my entire card, bro. It's not easy.
That's what I'm saying.
It's crazy. I've been telling people we need a better mobile app for MMA bet tracking. It's out there. The market's out there. I don't know how to app design, but I keep telling people, we'll take it.
No, that would be cool. But yeah, that's
exist.
all. So, you know, every couple of months, whenever I've got a free Sunday or something, or if there's a boring women's MMA fight that I don't have to worry about for the next 25 minutes, I will plug it all into my spreadsheet and then it'll spit out the results for me. I just, haven't had the time to do it yet. So I'll get an update anyway. And yeah, that's the thing. It's on my Instagram too. It's not only on my Twitter. It's also on my Instagram, because I post it everywhere for everybody. I'm not running from anything. Anyway, let's keep it rolling. We've got over 360 people live watching the show today. Thank you all very much for being here. Hit the like button, hit subscribe. Make sure you're checking out Austin as well. He's a good guy. Next up, Tim Elliott, Steve Erceg in a big spot, man. Boy, has Steve Erceg fallen on hard times. Astro Boy was absolutely one of my favorite prospects coming into the UFC, man. And it's so crazy what just a couple years will do, because he makes it to the UFC and I'm making out like a bandit, cashing tickets on this dude left and freaking right. And then he gets a short notice call-up spot against the GOAT for the title. And Austin, he's literally 1 minute away.
Yeah.
Like, he's got the title in the bag. And then he makes one mistake. He makes one error against Alexandre Pantoja, the GOAT. And he loses a very close 25-minute decision. And it's like he left a piece of himself in the cage that night, because he has never looked the same since.
Yeah.
He gets knocked out by Kai Kara France, and I mean badly. He fights scared against Brandon Moreno. He got rocked several times, and Moreno hasn't looked like himself lately either. So getting rocked by Moreno, not necessarily a good look these days. Then the UFC finally gives him a softball and is like, all right. We need to give this kid a step down, let him rebuild himself back up a little bit, because he is extremely good. They throw him Ode Osborne, somebody he should have no problem handling. Austin, he almost got iced immediately. Ode had him running for his life. He manages to grease out a decision in that spot. I had a big bet on Steve Erceg, and I was sweating balls. My butthole has never been more puckered than it was that night. I could not believe it. So thank God he got his hand raised, but it was terrifying to watch. Thank God he's taken some time off. I really feel like his chin needed it. He needed to kind of reset, relax, regroup. And now the UFC is giving him an opportunity against somebody who is not going to punch him that hard in the face. Tim Elliott is a very good grappler. He's very awkward. He's got weird timing on his feet with his hands, but he's not really a big power puncher or anything like that. So this is exactly the kind of guy that someone with potential chin concerns probably wants to be in there with. Tim had a 2-year-long layoff which I thought we might have seen the end of him. It seemed like he was having like injury and personal issues, takes 2 years off, comes back, and then he subs out Kai Asakura, which was pretty awesome to watch. I'm happy. I like Tim Elliott. Tim Elliott's a good dude. This is a tough fight. This is a tough one for me because I am all team Steve Erceg. I always have been. Astro Boy is my boy, and I want him to win this fight. I think he can because he's really big for the weight class. Mm-hmm. And one thing that people don't realize about him, he's an extremely underrated grappler. Very good hips, very good takedown defense, very good submission defense. Like, we've seen his submission defense against guys like Pantoja. He is very hard to put away. The biggest knock I've always had on Astro Boy has been the tall man's defense and the chin. I don't think Tim Elliott is going to Kai Kara France this guy. I just can't see it. Yeah, he's got three KO wins his entire career. And now he's a 39-year-old man coming back after a long injury layoff. This is Astro Boy for me, Austin. I know the number is wide. I know it might look like kind of an eyebrow, like, what are you doing? Minus 375 Steve Erceg. What are we thinking? I think Steve Erceg is better than Tim Elliott essentially everywhere outside of like pure cardio and pure wrestling. Like I'm sure Elliott will out grapple this guy if we're in a 25-minute fight because Tim Elliott never stops. But if we're mixed martial artsing, if we're striking, if we're doing all of it, Steve Erceg has a big striking advantage. Steve Erceg is a much larger human being, and Steve Erceg can hang in the grappling. I do think he wins, and I wouldn't be shocked if he was able to get old Tim Elliott out of there. I'm not sure quite how. I got to give Tim Elliott props, you guys. Quick story time. My best friend and I, for my birthday, we went to Vegas when we were younger, and we went to go watch my first ever live UFC fight. So we go to the Rio. It's Demetrius Johnson in the main event. It's good times. We set up like a big ass pile of bets, man. We had action all night and we were killing it, Austin. We had like a 10-leg parlay and it all came down to the GOAT Demetrius Johnson inside the distance. We were already counting our money. We were going to go drinking. It was about to be the craziest weekend of my life. And Tim Elliott decided I am not getting submitted tonight.
Oh, brutal.
Demetrius Johnson whoops his ass for 25 minutes. And Elliott literally went in there and said, you know what? It's a win if I don't get finished. And he was on defense the entire night. It ruined our weekend. We were so mad. We were just talking about it like 2 weeks ago. We were at the fights. We were hanging out at DraftKings watching the fights, and we were talking about it because he's still to this day, he's nowhere near the gambler I am, but he still remembers losing that bet that night because of fucking Tim Elliott. So I'm getting my blood money back, Austin. It's Astro Boy season. Give it back to me.
Yeah, I think the absolute best way to bet this fight and how I'm going to follow my model's result, which is I actually have the handicap pretty close. I have Erceg 52.7% likely to win, which is not good at minus 400, but I got him a little bit more likely to win inside the distance as well. I'm going to play Elliott like plus 3.5 or plus 5.5 here, via those point spreads, because I think Tim, he's just so awkward. Like, you remember him in there with Muhammad Micallef. He was honestly, he could have been up in that fight. And then he ended up getting submitted in the third round by Micallef. He's just this weird guy to fight. He's really hard to handicap for this reason. And then I don't think people are going to take that Asakura win seriously enough because Asakura went out to both Tim and Pantoja as well. But Asakura was a dog on the regional scene in Japan and all of that stuff. And I don't know if that win is getting enough love. I'll say this about Erceg because the year he fought Pantoja, I had a future on him to be the flyweight champion. So that's how devastating that was for Erceg for me. It was a crazy number at that point.
I was there with you too.
Yeah. But like at that point, I feel like Erceg is a guy that fights to his level of competition. I think he was able to rise to that Pantoja fight. I also feel like against Osborne, against a couple like Alessandro Costa, when those guys fought, and it felt like Erceg Clint hates Tim Elliott like Gina Bazzani. I got some Bazzani stories as well. But I think in this spot, Elliott's a hard guy to fight, but Erceg is the longer guy, definitely the better striker, really hard guy to submit, really hard guy to keep in dominant positions as well. And he's a lot bigger than Tim. So I think Erceg does get his hand raised here, but the way that he fights down to his competition, I like point spread. But I don't mind that. I can't follow its verdict because of the injury layoff, because of the age. And that's typically, I'll have a negotiation with my model, but I'll say there's certain things I'm not doing, and I'm not hammering Tim Elliott money line here. I'm sorry to say. And that's kind of what I have it for, is to consult myself, really double think about things and how I really think the fight could look. And I think that's what I'll do here.
Okay. No, that makes perfect sense to me. And in a 15-minute fight, you can almost always count on Tim Elliott to win at least one of those rounds. He is a tough out. So a spread bet makes a whole lot of sense to me here. No, it's Astro Boy for me. Real quickly, you guys, for those of you who are doing the NHL Degenerate action here with me tonight, there is 10 minutes left in this hockey game. Pittsburgh is up 3-2. And if you bet the -1.5 Penguin spread, you can get +110. I just did. And now we pray. Now we just hope they can bank one on the empty net, because there's two options here. Either the Flyers score and we go to OT, or we're going to get this empty netter and we'll win and we'll get +110 on it. So it's one or the other. That's how it always seems to fucking go in these situations. Pray no power plays for the Flyers, and let's go Penguins. BKERR in the chat. I love this question because a lot of people don't ever ask me this. Are you charging for bets? And if not, why do you have to provide tracking? Back to the tracking issue real quick. I promise we're not going to burn a bunch more time on it, but guys, some of you need to hear this. No. Okay. First and foremost, no, I am not charging for bets. That's been my whole thing ever since day one. Now, to be fair, right now, I'm on like a 2-year down skid. You'd be insane to actually pay me for my bets, unless you're like literally just fading me. If you're like, you're paying the subscription so you can bet against me, which by the way has its own level of value to it. You could do that, but no, I've never charged for my bets. My whole thing is I'm a degenerate, and it's really just it's about integrity for me. You know what I mean? I want people to know where I'm at and what I'm doing, because if you watch the show is originally started for me. The show was therapy for me, to talk about my favorite sport and to talk about the betting and to find some people who I wanted to hang out with and exchange ideas with online. Like, it was never supposed to be this big thing that it kind of turned into. So it really was just about me keeping track of myself. And now it's about anybody that listens, you know where I'm at. So like, if you listen to the show and you're like, wow, he sounds really confident about this, but you know what? He's been losing for the last 2.5 years. Maybe don't tail the fuckwad. Like, that's exactly what it's for, right? I want you guys to know if I'm doing well. I want you to know if I'm doing bad. If I'm hot and I'm on a heater and I'm cashing tickets left and right, maybe listen the fuck up, because I might know a thing or two. But you guys know where I'm at, and you can make an educated decision on that. So that's the real thing, is I don't owe the tracking to anybody. I owe it to myself. And I've chosen to do it for myself. And so that is another point, that when people are like, well, you should track on bet it, I'm like, fuck off. I don't owe you that. I don't owe you anything. I'm not charging you for anything. I do it for me.
Yes.
So,
and the thing I'd also say is listen to the analysis. Sometimes you can get the fight analysis exactly perfectly, but you don't get the right angle for the ticket. And that's me every week. That's what we're here to do, is to break this down. But we can't really control some of the weird stuff that happens in the cage sometimes. Yep. Like, how great of a bet was Rodolfo Vieira round 1 KO 12-1 last week? It didn't cash because he didn't finish it. That's what you're here to do, is to provide. And I say that the same thing. I don't make people charge. I don't charge people for my picks either, because I want you to listen to the content. The picks are going to come and go.
Yep. And also, guys, I will say, my whole thing is I've always tried to be more entertaining, right? Yep. Like that, when I started my podcast and when it started to catch a little bit of heat, I was like, you know what? I'm going to be funnier than everybody else. Like that's going to be my thing. I want you to enjoy the show. Like, I want it to be informational. I want you to have an opportunity in a safe place to talk with other fight fans. And then I want you to have fun. That's the point of my show, right? So listen, get some good betting info, have a good time, have a couple laughs, right? That's what you're here for. And that's why I ask you guys to support me. Subscribe, hit the like button, all that kind of stuff. You know, if you do end up tailing me and hitting something, if you want to donate and throw me a couple of shekels, that's great. That goes a long way to helping me out. But the idea is I'm just trying to provide a fun and safe place for everybody to enjoy betting on this sport. And there's just not, you know, now with Discords and stuff like that, I think there's more than there used to be. But when I started, there weren't any. And a lot of people got into pissing contests about their betting records, and people were in like serious, like real beefs with each other over who was the better gambler. I'm like, we're not doing that shit. We're here to degen out and have some fun.
Yep. And while we're in therapy and in a safe space, you have the two guys that get made fun of the most in the entire MMA betting.
Ain't it the truth?
You and me. Hey, Clint, unfortunately, I've got the glasses and the beard too, and then I sound like this. So how do you think I feel all the time?
You at least have the head of hair, my friend. That's
we're trading off. I mean, I don't know which one of us gets bullied more, but we welcome it because we know it's lighthearted, and we appreciate you guys tuning in for our show.
That's exactly what's up. All right, guys, let's get into it. Last couple of fights. Here we go. Next up, we've got Beneil Dariush, and he's taking on Quillan Salkilld in what the UFC is trying to set up as like a public execution. Austin, I love Beneil Dariush. I really do. He's 23-7-1. He's 36 years old, and he's 1-3 in his last 4 fights. 3 of those 4 losses that he's had recently coming by way of knockout. His chin is gone. The ship has sailed. Unfortunately, Beneil just cannot take a punch anymore. He's one of the most well-rounded fighters on the roster. He's physical. He's really strong. He hits really hard himself. He can wrestle. He can grapple. The sub-D is off the charts. But now he's slowing down just a little bit.
Sure.
Now he's not quite as quick as he used to be. And now he can't take the punch anymore. And it sucks. This is the worst part about being an MMA fan, is watching these guys, you know, that you're a fan of, or these legends that Father Time is undefeated. And if they stick around long enough, eventually this is the way they go. And that's kind of what's happening with Beneil. He'll put up a couple of good fights or a couple of good rounds, and then it's over. Quillan Salkilld is the next big thing from Australia, it seems. He's 11-1. He's just 26 years old. And I find it interesting. He's coming off Dana White's Contender Series. He went on this crazy run, you guys. So at first, the UFC fed him bums. He fought Anshul Jubilee. And I'll be honest with you guys, I bet on Anshul Jubilee that night because I didn't like the tape on Quillan Salkilld. I was like, Jubilee's actually live against this guy. I didn't factor for just how shit Anshul Jubilee actually is. So that was my mistake. But Quillan got like the lowest bar possible, right? The worst fighter on the roster in his UFC debut. So I kind of thought it was going to take him a while to come along. It has not. He ran through Anshul Jubilee. He ran through Yanel Ashmos. And then we got a KO of the year contender when he fought Nasrat Haqparast.
Yeah. Training because he was overweight, but they own a bakery.
Nobody does Nasrat like that, guys. Not a soul in the world does Nasrat like that. One of the most durable guys on the roster, a volume striker, good defensively. He even partially blocked that, and it did not matter. And then he goes out there and he chokes out Jamie Malarkey. Now, I've talked about Jamie being a little bit on the chinny side, but that was his first ever submission loss. Quillan was the first guy to finish him via sub. Like, this kid's good. This kid's really fucking good. Now, I worry a little bit about, he's kind of got the tall man's defense thing going himself sometimes, every once in a while, but you haven't seen it in his last couple fights, mainly because, well, they've ended a little bit quickly, but he's rising to the occasion. He's rising to the level of competition. I want to make it clear to you guys, this is a massive step up, okay? He went from the worst fighter on the roster 4 fights ago to UFC mainstays like Nasrat and Malarkey, which was a decent jump in its own, and now going to a former like contender, longtime top 8 type of fighter. This is a big fucking deal. This is a serious test of his abilities. Beneil Dariush could fraud check this guy, and I wouldn't even be surprised because Beneil is that dude. Quillan is minus 455 on the money line. Beneil Dariush is plus 350. If this was 3 years ago, this is a very, very different story. But I gotta side with Quillan winning this fight. Now, this could be, okay, if you guys follow me on social media, yesterday I went on this tirade I kind of posted because I've been getting burned by these old dogs. When I'm like, okay, this old dog is ready to put them out to pasture. They're no good no more. Durability's gone, slowing down, chin gone, all that. They got one more in them, and I always try to fade them. When they've got that one more in them, Austin, they always bite me in the ass that one final time. So I'm looking at this, and I'm like, I am with everybody else, and I believe that this is Quillan Salkild's time. But plus 350 on Beneil Dariush, like, would it be that crazy if he came in and bullied this dude to the ground and like out wrestled him for 15 minutes. We just saw it happen to Peyton Talbot. It's entirely possible in this crazy game of MMA that we play. I'm picking Quillan Salkilld to win this fight, you guys. I really am. But I don't think I can go anywhere near minus 450. Austin, what about you?
No, I definitely can. I've got Salkilld minus 218, which sounds like a more fair price to me. I think if you like Benny here, that first 5 minutes is so crucial because in some of these fights, he's just gotten blinked. He's gotten slimed right out. But if we get off the stools in round 2, Clint, how good are you feeling about a Salkilld minus 450 ticket? If it was kind of a grimy first round, Benny was able to reverse position. He's a great wrestler, great BJJ. It's just been that early chin, and it's been against guys like Benoit Saint-Denis and Arman Tsarukyan, a Charles Oliveira. I don't think Salkilld is a hitter. Like, I don't think he's a crazy power threat. He got the high kick on Haqparast, but he goes the full distance with Ashmouz. I will say the Gage Young win looks better and better as Gage climbs the ranks himself, but
Gage is looking good these days.
Yeah, I think Salkild's a real deal. I think he's a ranked lightweight, but that doesn't mean that if you don't slime Benny out of there early, that this isn't going to be a tougher fight than advertised. That's why when I'm drawn to this and what I have circled in my notes, I really like the over in this fight. I like Salkilld fight starts round 2. Salkilld 3 decision, something like that, where I'm kind of fading this run of early finishes because I don't think he's going to choke out Dariush like he did Malarkey. And the fact he didn't KO Malarkey makes me feel a little bit better that Benny might be able to hang on here. So I think the over is going to be crazy. I've got it plus 194 to go the full distance. I can't imagine that it's going to look like that because Salkilld has just been on this crazy run. But I think now as he steps up into this competition, which I think he can pass, I do think I kind of lean the over, and I'm leaning away from the Dariush chin thing and going to have a nervous 5 minutes, Clint. But I think if I get outside it, I'm going to be feeling real good about this fight going the full distance.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. And you know what? Vinzi beat me to it in the chat. Benny has started to gas in these fights too.
Yes.
That's another thing that again, a fight or two ago, man, you get out of round 1 and I'm feeling real good on Benny Dariush going into round 2. Not so much anymore. I know he's taken the beating early, but now getting into round 2, it's not like, well, that's it, Benny time. Like, he's slowing down and kind of laboring in round 2 and round 3 these days. So it's not a home safe type of situation, even if you do get out of that first round anymore, in my opinion. Yeah. So, hey, it's a tough one, man. We're really going to have to just kind of watch and see how this goes here because I am very, very curious. I think it's Quillan Salkilld. I think it's Salkild's time. He's obviously the star they're trying to bring to this region, and the kid's on a rocket ship. So at the very least, I'm not stepping in front of him. You know,
yeah.
It's the kid who's on the rocket ship, or it's nobody. So it's betting on Quillan, or it's a pass. But yeah, I'm with my boy Super Green in the chat. Love Benny. He needs to hang it up, and I wouldn't be shocked if this is it for him.
I think I can bet Salkilld here without having to go to Benny. It's not like Elliott where I'd want to go to a point spread because I am afraid of the gas sound. I'm afraid of the early finish. I would not bet Dariush in any spot here.
Yeah. Definitely not for me either. All right, guys, main event of the evening. Here we go. Jack Della Maddalena, and he takes on Carlos the Nightmare Prates. What a fight. I mean, this is like a legitimate real-life contenders fight here we're getting on this one, you guys. Both these guys are on the top of their game right now. Both these guys have really made waves in the UFC. Jack Della actually captured UFC gold for a brief moment there, and now he's trying to climb his way back up the mountain. Carlos Prates, one of these guys that I could not have been more wrong about and finally came around to, and now I'm cashing tickets on him instead of trying to fade him. And it's worked out really, really well. It's been great. We haven't seen Jack Della since he lost to Islam Makhachev, so took a little bit of time off. I like this guy. I do like his boxing. I like how aggressive he is. I like the way he comes forward. His cardio checks out. He doesn't stop in his fights. He does jump guillotine a little bit too often. And as we've seen, even in like the Gilbert Burns fight, he gets taken down sometimes and he can't quite get off his back, which, by the way, nothing pisses me off more. Belal should have won that fight. Belal should have won that fucking fight. I came on this podcast and I told you guys that he was joking about the striking thing. He's not actually dumb enough to do that. And then he actually went out there and did it, and it actually cost him the fight. I truly believe if he had wrestled, he still would have that gold belt wrapped around his waist. So very disappointing. But Jack Della kind of showed his stuff in that fight. The thing that got me was the way that he beat Gilbert Burns. Because, guys, I bet on Jack Della to win by knockout that night. I bet Jack Della money line. And people were like, no, he's going to get taken down. No, he's going to. I was like, it's just a matter of time, guys. Like, it's not if, it's when. And sure enough, it's a long clip. You guys got to see it. The literal last minute of the fight. He is on his way to losing a decision. And the literal last 90 seconds of the fight hits that knee and puts Gilbert Burns out. And that was the straw that broke the camel's back for Gilbert Burns. That was the one that really was like, okay, we're done here now. He's never been the same since. So I respect everything Jack Della does. He's kind of got a weird style. He's kind of a jack of all trades, master of none type. And then you've got Carlos Prates, who's 32 years old. He's got 18 wins by knockout. This guy has death touch level power. And I used to try to bet against him because I didn't like the way he was striking. I didn't like his shot selection. There was nothing that he did. And I was like, he gets beaten these little moments, you know, but he's a guy that kind of downloads. He's a guy that wants to get into the fight and get the timing and get the space. And then once he does, he switches on, almost like Petr Yan does a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I kind of missed, right? I thought he had bad cardio. I thought he slowed down. He was the kind of guy that I didn't really like that he did that. The only guy that's been able to really expose that was Ian Gary. And Ian had to go basically full defense mode. I mean, head movement all over the place, dodging everything, trying to stay safe, and then mixing in a lot of grappling to wear him out. Nobody else has been able to do that. And really that opened up just the most perfect opportunity to bet this guy when he fought Leon Edwards. You guys know I've got a hate boner against Leon Edwards, and this is literally the most satisfying knockout in UFC history for me. Good times. Good times. Here we are again with a very competitive, very close to pick'em line here. Carlos Prates, your slight favorite over Jack Della Maddalena, the former champion, -122. Jack Della's +102. And you guys, honestly, for me, it's got to be Carlos or pass. Because if you're not grappling, if you're not wrestling, I don't think you can stand with this guy. The step-in knees, the spinning elbows, the kicks, the way he pulls people into range and then fires with big counter shots. I know he's kind of the square side. I know he's going to be the popular side probably, but I truly believe that in order to beat this guy, you've got to be able to grapple him. And I don't think Jack Della Maddalena can do that. So I've got a hard time seeing Jack win this fight, Austin. I really do. And I know that, again, extremely square, right? It's a pick'em line for a reason, and I'm missing something because otherwise the line would be wider. But for me, it's Carlos. It's Carlos or pass. What are you doing here?
I've got Jack 66.9% -202, and I think I'm going to trust it. It is, but yeah, you talk about hate boners. My model has a hate boner for Prates because he's just so inefficient per minute. His head defense metrics are terrible. He lost the distance striking differential to Gary, but and this is just distance striking, not wrestling, not clinch, by 70 in 25 minutes. That was Volkanovski against the Korean Zombie level blowout in terms of distance striking. Now, obviously Prates has the power to make up for being behind on those numbers. And you see that with his knockdown rate that leads all ranked 170ers. But I honestly think Jack is a great style at distance if you're going to beat Prates because he throws a ton of volume out there, over 11 significant strikes per minute attempted. He's just this tight pocket boxer that's not going to let Prates get free. I feel like Jack is almost a better version on the feet, a much better version of Charles Radke, who we saw back in the day. Prates found that great knee to the liver. With how tight Jack is and how well he throws, he doesn't have to worry about the grappling here, I think. I think it is something that Prates might be a little bit underrated, actually, is his ground game. So you wonder if Prates maybe decides, I need this win, and I'm going to trust on my Fighting Nerds teammates and the work I've done in the gym with some of that stuff. I do think Prates has the grappling upside of the two. But at distance, striking success rate, Jack Della plus 1.73, Prates minus 0.76. Clint, my model thinks Della Maddalena is going to dominate if that holds. Wow. And I think Jack's actually fought a little bit tougher level of competition as well. Trust it, bro. I'm going to trust Jack Della in this spot. And I wonder if that is why the line is so close. Just because, like, you look into these efficiency metrics, it's really concerning for Carlos, even though he's got all of this aura outside of the cage. If he doesn't get the knockout, it really looks bad on a spreadsheet. And I wonder, maybe that's where the sharp resistance comes from in the line, is other people like me that have a predictive model. It looks really bad for Carlos.
Wow. That's crazy.
It is, isn't it? I hate that result. This is the first show I've done with you in a year and a half, and I'm like, okay, so I basically kind of have to max bet Jack Della Maddalena here, and I don't want to do that. But that's what it's telling me to do. So I'm just conflicted,
Well, I did cash a ticket on Ian Gary.
Yeah,
I've been an Ian Gary truther. I just, I don't know if Jack Della's got that kind of defense is my issue. But if your model is saying so, then maybe that's the move. I might have to lean passing here on this one, because going up against Austin's model is not a great decision.
I mean, yeah, it's been doing fairly well. I don't know if I love that result, because I think Prates is better than that. By the way, I got called out in chat. If Jack is 62% 2-unit win a money line, it's going to be a lot more than 2. But I'm waiting for the number to see if I can get a plus sign.
I hear you. Yeah, dude, that is insane. That's honestly crazy. My biggest thing with a guy like Prates, though, is that death touch. At any moment, it could be over.
Has Jack been dropped in UFC?
You know what? That is a great question.
He hasn't yet, and not even back to the Contender Series. It's an interesting thing where I think that is also a model read, as it says this guy's pretty durable as far as surviving through the power effects. So it's very interesting.
That is very interesting. Now, real quickly, just because you brought that up, though, I'm going to look at his opponents, though, because
not a lot of powerful
Basil
guys.
Kevin Holland, Gilbert Burns, Bilal. You're not going to get dropped by those guys.
Sure.
So it's kind of one of those runs where, he was running through round 1, all these guys, Pete Rodriguez, Ramazan Ameev, Danny Roberts, he hasn't been knocked down because he hasn't been touched by a hitter. He's never fought one hitter. I mean, Kevin Holland is probably the hardest hitter on that list.
Yeah. The Rude Boy fight was too quick. So we didn't even get to see a prolonged fight there.
Yeah. If that was a 15-minute decision, I would think maybe he gets credit in that one, but it never happened. Took him down, choked him out immediately.
Maybe I'm profiling the flag because I think these Aussies are so tough, bro. That it feels like they have granite chins. But also, 63% striking defense is elite. It's 98th percentile here at welterweight. So the defense helps, but also I think the chin specifically is interesting.
Well, and the defense is how Ian Gary did it, man. So I've got some respect for that. I just, again, I don't know if he's going to be able to, the reach discrepancy. I don't know if he's going to be able to land without the offensive grappling. That was the thing with Ian Gary, is he mixed in the grappling to kind of wear out Carlos Prates a little bit, and the grappling opens up the striking. Jack's just going to kind of move forward. Jack's just going to kind of move forward and box. And the striking defense is great, but I don't know if you're going to survive moving forward on a guy like Carlos Prates. So, we'll see.
Leg kicks are going to be huge. Leg kicks are going to be huge for Della Maddalena if he's going to be able to neutralize some of that movement and be able to keep him stationary. Gary landed 23 leg kicks against Prates, which was a big part of his game plan. So we'll see what Jack Della deploys. He's not a huge kicker by other standards. I'm going back to the Bilal fight, for instance, 18 kicks in 25 minutes. So not a super high volume guy, but it's there a little bit. And we'll see. We'll see.
For sure. And Vinzi, my friend, I am so sorry. I don't know if you guys saw my face, but I was watching it while Austin was talking. We got mushed. We all were. Too many of us were on it, man. Sidney Crosby, one of the greatest NHL players of all time, hit the pipe. He had the empty net and he hit the fucking pipe.
No,
it was there.
Dude.
We had it and he missed. I am so pissed. I am so sorry, you guys. We should have cashed. See, this is the problem. This is exactly the way my MMA gambling goes when everyone's looking at me. It's like, have you seen Mystery Men, Austin, back in the day? The superhero movie with Ben Stiller?
I know, and I'm not a good pop culture guy. So
the invisible man in that movie, he can only turn invisible when nobody's looking at him. So that's like me. I really can only gamble when nobody's paying attention.
Sure. There we go.
On that note, that'll do it. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in to the show. I hope you guys had a good time. I hope the information helps, and I hope we can help you make some money for this week. Venzi, my friend, you're right. I didn't have a dog of the week, and because I am going to be trusting your balls, Don Ma is going to be the Link Memorial Dog of the Week. So no pressure or anything, just the memory of my dead dog riding on your Don Mar fan call, my friend. That's how we're doing it this week. Thank you, everybody. Austin, my friend, thank you for hanging out with me. It's always fun to do the show. It's been too long. We'll definitely have to do it again sometime soon. If you have anything going on, other shows you got going on, places people can support you, feel free to shout them out.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It feels like who don't I work for at this point? I do, of course, a show with my guy, Matty Betts, Matt Tanner. We do our show Wednesdays on YouTube. I have weekly columns, Home of Fight, as well as Prize Picks playbooks to the Prize Picks. I just started up over at Prize Picks for the main card predictions. I'll do a prelims primer, as well as my DFS projections from my model. If you like DFS, I've been starting to do that on homeoffight.com as well for UFC stuff, but it's doing a lot of stuff with the NFL draft. So if you want to find the most relevant stuff at all times on Twitter, at Swaim3 is the best place to find it.
Good deal. Thank you very much again, my friend, for joining me. I really appreciate it. Thank you for joining us and watching the show. Hit your like button on the way out. Make sure you come on back. If you have any questions, feel free to jump in the comments. I always try to do my best to get back to everybody. And join me, everybody, because we will, of course, be doing Clint's Hot Props, the Total Takedown, and on Friday, we will do a live stream for the Undefeated post-weigh-in show. Love you guys. Be good. The world's crazy. Let's have fun. Let's gamble. Be kind to each other. And let's roll.
Let's go Mammoth, right, Clint?
Let's go Mammoth.
Yeah.
And the over 5.5.
And over 5.5.